Yeah, we got it bumping.
You need to disconnect that cable, cause if you want the truth, we at the round table. We give it real when the mothers ain't able. That's what it is when we at the round table.
What's going on, y'all? Yeah, come on, get on in here. Come on, get on in here. Yeah, I know. Oh man, I know. Say we riding, baby. Had to.
Yeah, we couldn't wait.
We couldn't. Yeah, this threw me. And yeah, we want to talk about it. We got to talk about it. So how y'all feeling, man? I mean, John Boss, what y'all think about this, man?
Tough. This was tough. This was real tough. But truth moving on. We got something. Rather than nothing, we finally got a response. And that's key.
Yeah, it just
That's key. Much
the
love to
fact
everybody.
that it was taking so long had me worried the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's going on, Chef? And we got Drea in here. My smoke sisters all up and through here. Yeah, this is a lot, you know, and we had to go tonight.
Yep.
You know, because we want to show y'all some stuff that, you know, came out today. I know some of y'all may have not seen everything, but they did just hold a press conference that we definitely want to go through. If you know, if y'all don't mind riding with us.
Yeah, we riding, baby. Always.
Shia,
this was powerful. To get it the way it was delivered and have Shanquella Robinson take the helm and really deliver in the best way that she could out of maybe a 35-minute press conference, what she could reveal versus where, she had to hold her cards. However, we heard from the U.S. Attorney General's office. Finally, they make a commentary, and this is what she delivered.
So this is the statement that they released. And at the end of the day, the bottom line was they're not filing charges. What y'all think about that?
Let's see if I can blow it up on my screen here. And in a bit. And see, Charlotte, North Carolina. Federal officials with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Middle and Western Districts of North Carolina and FBI met with the family of Ms. Shanquella Robinson and family representatives today to offer their condolences and present the findings of the federal investigation into the death of Ms. Robinson. The investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Ms. Robinson has been a priority for federal prosecutors and the FBI. The FBI has worked diligently to conduct a detailed and thorough investigation of the evidence available in this case. In coordination with Ms. Robinson's family, an autopsy was conducted in the United States by Medical Examiner's Office in Mecklenburg County.
Okay, now pause right there.
Oh,
because I know that there was a question about whether or not they did one over here. And I remember them telling us that they did. And so at one of the roundtables, we were trying to figure out exactly when that would have happened. So we know that they brought Shanquella's body back on November the 10th. And we know that her funeral was what? The 19th.
Correct.
So between the 10th and the 19th is when they had time to do this autopsy. So they did do one. Okay, I'm sorry, John.
We got our answer. Yes, an autopsy was done.
Yes.
Okay. As in every case under consideration for federal prosecution, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a federal crime was committed based on the results of the autopsy and a careful deliberation and review of the investigative material by both U.S. Attorney's Office, federal prosecutors informed Miss Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution.
Mm,
Now that stands alone right there.
it does. It really
So
does.
it kind of asks you, okay, so what evidence was given to them in order for them to make the statement?
Right. Absolutely.
So
What do they have? Yep. What was given to them?
So being that no one will be getting charged with this currently anyway, what are they labeling her death as? Accident. I mean, it has to be something. They can't say natural causes.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
So I wonder what it's now going to be labeled as.
Mm,
Right. What is the classification
Right.
of the femicide that the Mexican government has proclaimed the case to be versus how the U.S. now sees this?
right.
Yeah.
Right. And we're gonna get into that press conference. Yeah, we definitely gotta get into that.
The death of Miss Robinson has been incredibly difficult for her family and the community. As a matter of policy, federal officials generally do not issue public statements concerning the status of an investigation. However, given the circumstances of Miss Robinson's death and the public's concerns surrounding the investigation, it is important to reassure the public that the experienced federal agents and seasoned prosecutors extensively reviewed the available evidence and have concluded that federal charges cannot be pursued. As in any case, the government is prepared to review and examine new information. They left a back door open.
Sure did.
The government is prepared to review and examine new information related to the investigation should it become available.
Right. But my thing is this. I mean, it makes me wonder, like we said before, exactly what do they have? They should have had everything. I mean, we got this 10, 15-second video. I'm sure they got statements from these kids. I mean, they did their own autopsy. What more did they need?
Let me ask you this, 54.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that 17 seconds was it?
No.
So that leads me to ask you this next question. Did they take them kids' phone?
Do a phone dump?
Yeah, and do a phone dump.
I mean, I would hope.
I mean,
makes you think whether they did or whether they didn't.
And when.
When they did it. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, like I said, I would hope they would. And then we're talking about the FBI.
Yeah. How much work did they really put into this case once they received it?
Right.
As thinking as a criminal or someone who's guilty in this case, I'd have burnt that damn phone and went and bought another one.
Oh, man.
I mean with plenty of time?
With all that time they had?
Yeah.
That motherfucking ocean somewhere.
Leo, they kids to me. Because my kids are their age. You understand? So it ain't no disrespect. They kids to me. They're not in my age bracket. You understand? And they did some immature, kid stuff. That's kid stuff to me. But like I said, they're the age of my kid. So they're kids to me.
Right.
Well, they certainly acted that way when the video was shot. Yeah, we all saw that.
David Hebrew, new member.
I appreciate you, David. Y'all trying to build a smoke brother.
There
Okay, I
you go.
see y'all.
Maybe he's trying to pull Boss and I back there.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, David.
But yeah, I mean, I think that it just raised so many more questions, which is why I was, when they told us that they were doing the press conference, I was like, oh yeah, like I definitely need to see, you know, exactly what she about to come back with, because y'all know I love me some Sue Ann. I love Sue Ann. She's so strong, so strong, you know. So yeah, I mean, have all y'all watched the press conference? Because if not, we gotta watch this.
No, great question. Great question. By a show of ones in the chat, for those that are just coming in the door, you know, welcome to the RoundTable React. Type a 1 in the chat if you saw today's Shanquella Robinson's press conference by Sue Ann Robinson. Just type a 1 real quick. Let's see what we got.
We got a couple of no's, so yeah, some people gonna see it for the first time.
Yeah, that's good. Much love to you, Leo. Nah, we riding, baby. Ain't nothing but love for you. I understood where you was coming from. I definitely did.
Yeah, the room is lit. A lot of ones. We got some that haven't seen it. A lot of ones.
Yeah, I say let's get into it, because this is what's gonna spark the conversation. You know,
and listen carefully, because my complaint, and I'm gonna bring it up. Yeah, Boss is back there laughing now. I'm gonna bring it up. You know, when I listened to it, it was very low, and I switched from a different channel, went to a different news broadcast. You know, whoever was covering the live conference, it was coming in low. And I said, every time they do a press conference with all the microphones that's up in front of the podium, you have to turn up your volume for some strange reason.
Here today, obviously everyone knows.
So that was just my dilemma. But nonetheless, I heard the press conference in its entirety as it, was, explained. And it was some very interesting information in the press conference. So please, if you get low volume, listen carefully to what Sue Ann Robinson says during this press conference, because she does give us a little bit as to what had originally occurred with the Attorney General's office and the FBI, and how this case was conducted in terms of the investigation into the Shanquella Robinson case.
Y'all ready to start it?
Oh, we're ready to go.
That the FBI has released their statement indicating that they don't plan on filing any charges after investigating Shanquella's case. So we're here today. We're disappointed, but we're not deterred. It's not something that's necessarily unexpected, in the sense that Black and brown people always have to carve their own path to justice. Today, just sitting in the meeting with the family, listening to what we were being advised, and listening to what the so-called investigation was revealing, I thought back to Miss Wanda, Ahmaud's mother, who had to take her case to the state attorney's office and had to beg for charges to be pressed in the death of her son. And I remembered Sandra Bland's mother, who had to do the same thing when they told us all that an investigation revealed that her cause of death was suicide. And I think most about in Shanquella's case, because her attack was captured on video, and now we're being told that there isn't going to be an arrest, or there aren't going to be any charges brought. It reminds me of George Floyd, and how we were told that while we were watching with our own eyes Derek Chauvin putting his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, we were being told that he was having a heart attack and that he was suffering from a drug overdose. So while we're here disappointed, we're not deterred. We're going to continue to press on. We're going to continue to demand that there's a high level of diplomatic intervention in this case, that if The U.S. authorities are now again telling us, oh, well, it's back on Mexico because Mexican authorities have to do something. We don't have a problem with that. We know that we have to carve our own path to justice, and we've been doing that from the very beginning. Mrs. Robinson has demonstrated tremendous strength, and I talk about it all the time, as well as Kola, her sister, having to bury a child, grieve for a child, get through all of that stuff, and then fight for justice for your child at the same time. And then being advised today, well, despite there being a video showing a vicious and brutal attack of your child while she's naked and obviously not fighting back, that there is nothing that can be done in terms of charges being filed by the FBI, that you have to seek your redress and your justice somewhere else. And that's fine. Mrs. Robinson, again, is obviously disappointed, as is all the family at the meeting today. But we're not deterred. We're still going to be marching. We're still going to rally in D.C. on May 19th, because it shouldn't be that in this country that Black women, Black and brown victims of crime have to do this every time they are victims of crimes. But it is unfortunately what it is. And again, any discrepancies or any issues with respect to Mexican autopsy versus the autopsy conducted by the FBI, all of those things are going to be a result of a delay. And now we're witnessing the result of a delay, which is why there was always a concern, which is why I always say this is the people's case, this is the people's movement that said, hey, there's no reason why a Black woman should go on vacation with her friends, be returned to her family in a box, and nothing be done for 5 months, that the FBI be permitted to sit on their hands, that they be permitted to say, we're working, because justice delayed can be justice denied. We all know that and have seen it time and time again. And so that's why I say, on behalf of the family, again, we're very disappointed, very deeply disappointed. But we're not deterred, because it's something that we've seen before, and we know that we have to carve our own path to justice. Ms. Robinson knew that when she asked me to go on a fact-finding mission to Mexico, that we were obviously in a state of affairs where there's two different justice systems in America. And we know that in ours, we have to fight for our justice. We have to rally for our justice. We have to beg for the same constitutional rights. And Shanquella is doing that even in death. Even in death, she's having to fight for her rights as a U.S. citizen, as a victim of a crime. The U.S. authorities have to understand and have to know that even if for them it's not about Shanquella, that United States citizens cannot go to Mexico, commit a crime that we all saw on a video, and then come back to America and say, we're on base, we're safe, we're not going to be charged with a crime. That cannot be the message that the U.S. authorities want to send. So again, discrepancies caused, or discrepancies in the autopsy results between Mexican authorities that we've all been discussing, unfortunately, and not being discussed by the right individuals, have all been caused by delays. If it had been taken serious from the very beginning, if the internet and the people and social media didn't have to create the movement behind the case, and the authorities would have gotten involved the minute the video surfaced, there wouldn't have been a delay. There would have been immediate statements taken from the individuals involved. There would have been time to take an immediate autopsy of the body before it was embalmed. All of those things would have been done, but because it was the death of a young, Black, beautiful, brilliant, educated woman who was on vacation, justice was delayed.
Okay, so wait a minute. So she told us that they did the autopsy, and then she made a comment about, I'm assuming, the FBI doing an autopsy on Shanquella after her body was embalmed. Ain't that what it sounded like to you?
Yep.
And I was thinking that I was going to wait till we got to the embalm information that you did find. But my question is that the reason why they're not getting the same
Result.
results that Mexico did.
Right. So, but then when you think about, well, the neck, being broken and things like that, in my mind, whether the body is embalmed or not, those broken bones are still going to be there.
Agreed.
Correct.
Agreed.
I mean, having a body embalmed doesn't mean, I mean, the bones are still going to be broken.
Right.
Right.
Anatomically, nothing should change
Right.
in terms of the bones because a body is embalmed.
Right. And so when I went looking, because I'm like, well, how accurate could that possibly be? And so I found this right here. And it said, and it asked the question, can an autopsy be performed if the body has been embalmed? The answer is yes. However, for the best outcome, an autopsy should be performed on an unembalmed body after proper refrigeration. If there is a long delay beyond a week between the time of death and the autopsy, and we all know in Shanquella's case, it was, embalming is recommended to preserve the body tissues.
Right. So when she say a delayed response, now I know she was speaking on interviewing the Cabo Six, but they was gonna have to embalm this body because what it says, how long it took for a body to get over here?
They got her back on the 10th.
On the 10th. So it had to be embalmed, correct? To preserve.
To preserve.
Right. So if we're going by the evidence of the autopsy, then I can understand. But I'm trying to figure out what took them so long to interview the Cabo Six. You know what I'm saying? That's the very important thing that sticks out in my mind.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And once again, too, the FBI, according to a YouTuber that was covering the story, mentioned when the FBI did step into this case, I believe it was November 24th or 29th. One of the two dates where
Right.
the FBI did open up the U.S. case on our side of the fence, how they began to get involved into this case was still left in the open. Okay,
Right.
how are they getting involved? What are they doing? Are they going down to Cabo? Are they questioning the Cabo Six? Are they in contact with the family?
They stayed tight-lipped. They didn't
They were very tight-lipped. Yeah.
So
So in which way did they come into investigating the case? And if so, what documentation do they have that states the date that they started and what they began actually investigating?
there was a question in the chat earlier about can they still expedite them over to Mexico? That's something they're not going to do. That's why Mexico gave them jurisdiction here. You know what I'm saying? So either they're keeping it 100 and saying there's not enough evidence, or I'm going to look at it as they just being lazy and don't want to deal with it.
And I agree because I'm getting that sense, as we spoke about before on the roundtable pertaining to the Shanquella Robinson case. I believe that there is a level of incompetency here. I can't put my finger on it, but it's going back and forth from the time the package was released and completed up until the package got delayed now. There was nothing happening. We didn't hear anything going on. And you say, hell, Federal Express can deliver a package in 24 hours.
Right.
If it's a package going through the Office of International Affairs. And now you got to get it to a U.S. prosecutor, U.S. Attorney's Office to be reviewed and then executed. But nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Well, let's keep riding. We riding. Sue Ann still speaking. Let's see what else she got.
Right.
There was no investigation done. It was not taken seriously until the people had to say, hey, we're not going to accept that this is just what it is. This can't be just what it is. We see with our own eyes an attack, an assault, a crime happening, and nothing's being done. That came from you all. That came from the people saying, we demand answers. And today we actually ended up with way more questions than answers. And so that's why I'm determined and fully aware, and the team, Ben Crump, Tamika Mallory, Until Freedom, Mario Black, all of us, we stand with this family, and we're going to stand with this family till the very end. And we're going to be in Washington, and we're going to rally, because we understand, unfortunately, what the job is, what the work is, and that we have to carve our own path to justice in these cases. And we've seen it time and time again, and I've said it in other press conferences. I would like to be put out of this line of business. I don't want to be here on behalf of another beautiful Black family begging for dignity and respect and basic constitutional rights. I don't want to be doing those things, but that is what it is right now. We have two separate justice systems, where one is, if you're a victim of a crime and you look a certain way, it's going to be covered by the media. It's going to be resolved in a certain way. And then we have our cases where we have to have press conferences and rallies, and we have to beg the government to intervene. And that's not okay. And that's why it's the most important work of our time. And so we're disappointed, we're not deterred, we're pressing on. We absolutely will keep you guys updated on everything that we're doing, but we're definitely pushing toward the 200th day to be in DC. We hope that everyone can join us, because the message cannot be that U.S. citizens can go overseas and commit crimes against other U.S. citizens and come back and say that they're on base, that they're safe, that they're not going to be arrested, that there's going to be such a delay in the investigation that the evidence will have time to dissipate, and they'll have time to change their stories or work on the evidence. That can't be the message, because this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and we have U.S. constitutional rights, and there's victims' rights, and we're going to fight for that. We're going to fight for that, whether the victim of the crime is Shanquella or whether it's any Black woman. We're going to fight for that, because it's deserved. It's our right as U.S. citizens. So I'll have, do you want to speak? Okay. Do you want to speak? Okay. So I can take questions.
You mentioned a delay. Is there any kind of evidence we can share that was shared with you all, to the reason why the government DOJ said they...
Sure. I said there was a delay, meaning that the video was released on November 16th. So we were advised today that the U.S. authorities didn't begin an investigation until after their own autopsy had been conducted, which would have been well after the video came out. And really the bigger issue is that without the video, before the video even came out, if you all remember, there was a statement released saying no foul play. Before any evidence was even entered, there was a statement made saying, oh, there's no foul play. That statement was never retracted, but because the case was never taken seriously from the beginning, that caused the delay. That caused...
Yeah. So
I felt your finger hit the stop button.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Came right behind you. Mine came right behind you.
yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Mm.
There's no foul play.
In the beginning, we got this, and this was dated November the 16th. Shanquella Robinson died of a broken neck on Mexico vacation, family says, but cops insist no foul play. And then in the body of that article, it said that the U.S. State Department officials in Mexico have reportedly denied that Shanquella's death was a murder, saying the police investigation did not show signs of foul play. This is what they gave us in the beginning. So they were already treating it like, yeah, this ain't what y'all think it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing here, nothing to see. Everybody go home.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
You know,
Sad.
that's what they told us.
Sad.
And we thought that because we got that video, and you know, we all went back and forth, you know, about it. Me, John, Boss, you know, people in the chat, and they kept saying, you know, some people were like, "Oh, well, she died in that video," because we was going off of the death certificate, because the death certificate said she died within 15 minutes, and so we trying to break down the video footage that we got, and a lot of us already was like, "Nah, wait a minute. There has to be more to this." And I was one who was never convinced that she sustained those injuries in that video. And I kept telling y'all, I'm like, I don't know when she sustained the injuries. But she's saying even with this video, I mean, this is where we at with it. So they got the video, and then they did their own autopsy. I mean, I'm sure they had the results of the autopsy from Mexico, but clearly it didn't match.
Yeah, and you know, their autopsy is a little different from ours. So we was hoping they would do one here in the US, so we would feel that it would be more accurate. But if it was done after the body was embalmed, that had to play a key part in the difference. It had to. I understand, you know, what they embalm, they take all the blood out and all that good stuff. The bones are still there. So you would think they could still see a broken neck. But how can one autopsy says so two injuries, and they say, nah, ain't no spinal cord injury. We have no idea how she died. Come on, bro. That don't make sense.
It don't make sense.
Right.
And it's clearly on the death certificate. But understand this, we had already pointed out some of the issues on the death certificate. So my thing is, if we got to question one thing, we got to question all that, all of it. And we seen what they put on there. Don't we have that? We seen what they put on that that death certificate.
Let me see.
When is this one?
There it is. I don't know if they can see that.
Severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. So understand this, whether the body was embalmed or not, I would think that at least if nothing else, these two injuries would still be noticeable.
Right. And let's think about this. Atlas luxation, that's not an everyday injury. I mean, it happens. We know that.
Right.
But atlas luxation is when the neck is dislocated, but it's still on your head. It's like you've been, you know, your head been cut off, but your neck is still attached. That don't happen all the time. So I feel like that's real. You can't convince me that ain't happening. I'm sorry. They could have just said a broken neck. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. But to go into detail like that, nah.
Yeah.
See, and the sad part, I guess the downside of finding out that now, officially, that Shanquella's body did come back embalmed, kind of kicks a toxicology report out the window.
Absolutely.
You see, we won't know under a toxicology report what was in her system, if anything at all.
Right. Okay, well, come on, we still riding.
That's the downside.
That's right.
Mexico to have to do their own autopsy, then the FBI to have to wait for the Robinson family to have the body transported. All of these things should have been done by U.S. federal authorities if they took the case seriously from the beginning. But it wasn't taken seriously from the beginning. The people had to move the case. We had to demand that the case be taken seriously. And those delays are going to cause discrepancies in an investigation. We all watched First 48, know that that time when you're investigating a murder or homicide or any crime, that you have to investigate swiftly. We saw it with the kidnapping case in Mexico. Immediately, the FBI said $50,000 reward. We're moving in. We're coordinating with the Mexican authorities. There was no swift action on this case. There was absolutely no urgency on the part of the U.S. authorities. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Quick question, real quick question. Could the U.S., like the FBI, I know this is in Mexico jurisdiction, but before they did this embalm, could the U.S. went over there and did their own autopsy there? Because that was the only way it was going to stop from them embalming her first, right?
Now,
That's a good question.
When you say that, you're talking about the U.S. officials?
The FBI being there, I can't remember when the FBI took over, but like she said, they took a while to actually get involved. If they got involved immediately, would Mexico officials allow them to come over there and do their own autopsy? Because like we know, they had to wait for the body to get here, and the parents had to pay for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Butter says no. Butter said no. The U.S. cannot go over and do their own. Totally no.
So yeah, that's out the window then. Okay. We go.
I guess what discrepancy that they told you as far as like the Mexican autopsy?
Oh, okay, sure. So
That you can reveal.
yeah, absolutely, because it's going to be revealed. It's going to be the feds are going to release their results of their autopsy, which was done after the body was embalmed and then transported, and they're advising that there isn't a spinal cord injury, that the Mexican autopsy says there's a spinal cord injury, but according to them, there is no spinal cord injury. They're also advising that there's swelling on Shanquella's brain, but that her cause of death is undetermined. So to me, if you are in an investigation, how are you closing an investigation on a case where the cause of death is undetermined, but we all have seen a video showing a brutal attack?
Okay, so again, the FBI here, the U.S. is saying those injuries don't exist. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what you're hearing.
That's exactly what you're hearing.
That's exactly what you're hearing. You know, it tells me, I go back into hearing those same words when we all had covered the Kanika Jenkins case and covered her autopsy, where there was a cerebral edema,
right,
that was non-specific according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office. But yet, how could that be? If you have brain swelling that may be due to a TBI, traumatic brain injury, or a swelling of the brain in some way, shape, or form, what is the cause? They come back with non-specific. And in now this case, it's unidentifiable as to what caused a particular swelling in the brain space of Shanquella Robinson.
I don't know about this, man.
Yeah. So now you begin to think, and okay, who's right here? Mexican government that released the death certificate, then the autopsy, and now we've got news from Sue Robinson that the U.S. autopsy is revealing not really.
I just think
information.
Right. I mean, I just think that when we're talking broken bones, I know I'm seeing people in the chat say, the embalming was all about, preserving blood tissue and things like that. But as far as a broken bone, I would just, in my mind, I would think that the autopsy, FBI's autopsy, would have shown those injuries.
Yeah, the major injuries. Yeah.
The major injuries.
And especially an atlas luxation, where the brainstem and the spinal column have been separated from one another.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just for them to tell me that they can't find it, I mean, now it's like, who do we believe?
Correct.
Do we believe US or do we believe Mexico? When we was already questioning the death certificate.
Right. Salute the Bronx born.
I'm beginning to understand what Shanquella Robinson's talking about regarding ping pong here.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just and remember I made that comment about details coming out that we wasn't going to be happy with. You know, and this is one of the things I prayed about as far as this autopsy goes. And what she's telling us in this press conference is that they don't match. Simple as that. They don't match.
Mm-hmm.
We still riding.
It's not giving undetermined. It's giving there's a video and now you're telling us something else, not to believe our own eyes, which is why I invoked George Floyd's case, which is why I said, you know, that was a case where we were being told, don't believe your own eyes. Don't believe that Derek Chauvin has his knee on his neck for 8 minutes. Believe that it's really a heart palpitation or he's having some sort of drug overdose. We see the video. We see what happened. We see that she's being beaten, but we're being told that, oh, the cause of death is undetermined. And that can happen if the autopsies are delayed. That can happen.
So, there's an arrest warrant out of Mexico. How does the FBI statement today impact that arrest warrant? And did they give you any indication that they will extradite the people who were on that trip with Shanquella?
Right. They've indicated that that basically what they're doing is what I've talked about from the beginning, which is ping-ponging. The FBI today said, well, we're not going to press charges, but Mexico could do something if they want to do. And if Mexico wants to do something, then it's no problem. We'll be fully cooperative with anything that Mexico wants to do. So again, as you all know, I went to Mexico and Mexico said, we've sent everything over to Interpol. We've sent everything to FBI. We've sent all of our documents. We're just awaiting word from U.S. authorities on what needs to be done next. So there's a Department of International Affairs, the Department of State, obviously, who we've contacted and sent a letter to, and they know what needs to be done. And that's what's so frustrating about the case, because it's not something that's without precedence or without a protocol. And so for the United States government and for the FBI today to sit and tell myself, Mrs. Robinson, Quilla, and Mr. Robinson, that there's nothing to be done on their end, they're closing their investigation, and I guess Mexico could do something if they want to, is absolutely absurd. Not just for Shanquella's case, though. It's not absurd just for her case. It's absurd for any person who would be a victim of a crime overseas committed by a U.S. citizen. How can you just say, okay, well, as long as we make it back home, we're not going to get in trouble? That makes no sense.
That's right. Has Mexico...
Yes. 1 second. Yes.
Just out of my curiosity here, you talked about some of the action that might be taking place. The path forward right now. What do you see as the path forward right now? And if either to get justice or to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. Because you mentioned, you teased a little bit about staying in Washington, but I would also imagine too, there's also all this other stuff that has to happen in Mexico as well. That probably needs to be a lot more communication.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we've been asking for from the beginning, which is a high level of diplomatic intervention. It's going to take more than the local FBI field office in Charlotte, with all due respect to all the work that they do. It's going to take more than that, because there has to be a high level of diplomatic intervention. Heads of state have to talk to heads of state and say, listen, this is what it is. This is what happened. It's on video. We can't have U.S. citizens do this. Cannot occur. How are we going to resolve this? There needs to be a result in an amendment to the treaty or whatever has to be done. But it cannot be that you can commit a crime and come back and say you're on base. That can't be the result. So between then and now, we're absolutely preparing for the rally on the 200th day on May 19th. And then we definitely are going to still be, beating down doors and asking for our meetings in terms of, the head of the International Affairs Committee and their chair and all of the things that we've been doing. We're still going to continue that. And that's why I say, on behalf of the family, we are deeply disappointed, but we're not deterred. Yes.
I know that Mexico has issued an arrest warrant, but has Mexico issued a extradition request?
Right. And I think the issue right now, and what I'm kind of alluding to, is that if an extradition request was needed, if that was the one piece that we were all here waiting for, why wouldn't there be a high level of diplomatic intervention to say, hey, there's criminals among us. They're walking around and they hurt someone. Can you get this? There needs to be communication. And the reason why there's no communication is because the case hasn't been taken seriously.
So I guess, like, to your knowledge, has Mexico issued like a formal request for extradition?
Absolutely. Like I said, I was advised by the Attorney General in Baja Sur directly, we have sent everything. They have everything. And remember, for the FBI to conduct their investigation, they've advised us, we're in communication with Mexico. That's how we did our investigation, to say we're not pressing charges. So if they're in communication with Mexico, why isn't part of the communication, hey guys, forgot to drop off the extradition paperwork?
So just to be clear, so Mexico has sent a request for extradition. Has the State Department said that they've received it, or have they?
I wanted to pause it there for a second. Did you hear what she just said?
Mm-hmm.
About the extradition paperwork?
Yep. So
did you guys key into that?
Mm-hmm. We don't need a Jewish lawyer.
Yeah, what did she say? Hey guys, we forgot to drop off the extradition paperwork.
So, do they have the extradition paperwork or not?
Not.
I mean, because because she said that Mexico told her that they submitted everything.
Right.
So,
but she makes a very distinctive commentary here. If you can play it back and let everyone hear that little piece, just that little piece. If I can. Cool.
Request for extradition. Has the State Department said that they've received it, or have they said?
The State Department has not advised. What I'm saying is, and what I've said since I went to Mexico, which is they have advised all the documents they need to submit have been submitted. So now we're being advised, well, we're not going to press charges in the United States. Maybe Mexico's going to do something. So the point is, if you're having ongoing communication because you're involved in an investigation and you really give a damn, then that's a very simple communication. Hey guys, we're not going to be able to press charges, but you guys go ahead and prepare your extradition paperwork so we can get it sorted out, since there's criminals over here just running around free and it's hurting an American family. That's a very simple communication.
Prior to the update that went out this afternoon, what was the last communication that you had with the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding this case?
The U.S. Attorney's Office in Mexico?
And the U.S.
We were not communicating with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the United States. We were communicating with the FBI and the State Department.
And what was the most recent update you had gotten on the case prior to the one that was released?
Oh, we were all getting the same update, which is we were investigating.
Okay.
Yeah, for the last 5 months.
I know the last time we spoke, you mentioned that you were meeting with White House officials last week or the week of April 3rd. Did that meeting happen, and what happened in that case? And then from the FBI, I'm trying to get more clarity. What are they saying they need, or what is the thing that they're saying they're missing? If they're saying, Mexico wants to press charges, we can move on, whatever, but an extradition request has been filed, an arrest warrant has been filed, what are they saying is the missing piece so they can, move forward with extraditing someone if that is?
Good question.
Okay, so two questions.
Right.
We are still going to White House, and we are still moving towards that, because our belief has always been from the beginning that it's always going to be bigger than the local feds in Charlotte, that it's going to take a high level of diplomatic intervention because heads of state have to talk to heads of state. That's just the bottom line. It's a transnational criminal case, and so it's going to take a little bit more, especially because it involves one of us. Again, I hate to keep repeating that in the Mexican kidnapping case, that was the most swift action ever. So saying to Shanquella's family, oh, you know, we had to look around, it took us a while, we had to wait to get this autopsy result, is absolutely disingenuous, because swift action could have been taken if it was taken seriously from the beginning. And then what was the second part of your question?
What was the missing piece? Well, actually, to piggyback off of that, so I know you mentioned you were supposed to meet the week of April 3rd. Are they receptive to meet with you, or are they pushing that behind you?
Well, the issue is everyone is ping-ponging against everyone else. So first, you have to meet with this person in order to meet with this person in order to have a meeting with this. So we have now completed this piece, which again, we're disappointed by what was said today, but we're not deterred. So that's what I'm saying. We're continuing on our same path to the rally on May 19th and to have meetings with heads of state.
So you met with
Wanted to pause it here because we brought up the fact that when you're dealing with intermediaries from the United States, the Office of International Affairs, to a foreign government, we brought this to your attention on our last roundtable.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you remember the schematic. All the hands and all the different agencies that are involved in transferring a file from a foreign entity, in so much how many hands it would have to go through in order to get to the proper authority. Wanted to bring that to your attention. Also wanted to do this. Yeah, I also want to do this. I'm just gonna, we can just hold it right there because Sue Ann is just, she got me on fire over here.
Yeah, it's some people disappointed in her in the chat.
Yeah.
But is this really her fault?
Whose?
Sue Ann's.
No, it's not her fault. No. She's just following where the ball is bouncing.
Right.
You know, she went down to Mexico. They say, oh, you got to talk to the people that came down here with Shanquella. We sent the package.
Right.
So to speak. Now we just showed you that schematic as to where that package went. Now it's supposed to be at the North Carolina FBI field office. They're the ones who were supposed to get this package to investigate. Okay. All right. So with that said, let's see who it went to, because no one's going to show you this tonight. You guys are getting an exclusive on this, because not even Boss Blake or 54 Keys knows who Shanquella Robinson spoke to.
Okay, then.
Okay. Let's go.
John Q. Okay. I did a little bit of research. Yeah. You know how we ride. I did a little bit of research and said, well, who in the hell did Shanquella Robinson talk to? And I said, okay. I said, I'm in my car, and I pulled over and I looked up a name, and the name that came up was this one. This, we are the first to be breaking this news here, is Dina J. King, is the first person of color to serve as the top prosecutor for the Western District of North Carolina in 150-year history. Now, I also want to bring to your attention also some things in this article. This was released on November 29th of 2021 at 3:34 p.m. Okay, and it says here, Charlotte, North Carolina, WBTV covered this information. Dina J. King has been officially sworn in as the new U.S. Attorney representing the Charlotte region. King was nominated by President Joe Biden on September the 28th and confirmed by the United States Senate on, watch this. What does that say?
November
19th.
When was Shanquella's funeral?
November the 19th.
So this is who Sue Ann Robinson sat down today along with the family members, in reference to getting this information passed on over to her, saying that, hey, there's nothing we can do about this.
Oh, man.
You know what that reminds me of, right?
I'm feeling something where it comes to this kind of a play politically.
Yes.
And we spoke about the politics that are involved to a degree in this case. We haven't gone down deep because I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet, but I'm starting to see whom they're presenting from the government side over to Sue Ann Robinson and the Robinson family in regards to this case of femicide / murder / extradition. Now, what did her office receive as the evidence from Mexico that gave them the determination to tell what they told Sue Ann Robinson just today before she went to that press conference? This is Miss Dina J. King. So now you have a face to go with that meeting. We need to keep her in mind.
Right.
Just in case we all have to bombard her phones and her office and her email with commentary from tonight's live. I yield back.
Just think about when the White House first responded. You remember who was up there on that microphone? You don't remember? The aggravated lady?
Who?
You remember when they asked her those questions and she kept repeating the same thing?
Oh, yeah. And we was like, yeah, she pissed off.
Think about it now.
She didn't want to be up there.
Think about what John just showed us. And think about who they put on in front of that microphone to tell us that news.
Right.
They playing with us, bro.
Yeah.
They playing with us, bro.
Now,
like, let them go on out there and talk to their own people. Y'all tell y'all people. Y'all tell y'all people this. We good.
There you go.
They might accept it better coming from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, hence, we got some politics here. I wanted to share that in tonight's React because it is important. It has been tipped into the case, and we've got to reveal what it is that's been tipped into the case. That's who they have at the table, folks.
What a world we live in.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Or should I say country? Wow.
Doris said right in our face. Yeah.
Hey, big ups, John, for finding that out, bro.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, that's what we do here at the round table.
Absolutely.
When we come together, you know, like I said, on the table talk that we had on Sunday, you know, to be working with 54 Keys and Boss Blake on this particular platform, covering the casework that we do here, you know, we put our best effort forward to find the facts.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that's adamant between the three of us is that that's all we can actually speak upon are the facts. No, we can give our opinion. I can say, you know, my opinion is this, but when it comes to the facts are the facts. And the only way that we can present the facts is if we got receipt to the facts. And that is a big receipt that you'll see here on tonight's React roundtable. That's a fact. Dina J. King is whom Suanne Robinson spoke to this morning just before that press conference that gave her that information about where they are in this case.
It makes you feel like they never had no intentions.
None.
On really investigating this. Now, like I said, I don't know what all they have. I wish they had just dropped the paperwork. Drop the paperwork. We'll figure it out.
For real.
You know what I mean? Give us the paperwork. I don't know who to trust, man. I don't. Who do we trust?
Sad, man. This is sad.
It is. It is. Let me just do this real quick again. And it says federal authorities say they won't pursue charges in Shanquella Robinson's death. This was an article that was posted today, WFAE 90.7 out of Charlotte, NPR news source. This was done at 12:46 p.m. Eastern Time.
Today.
This was the press release that was released by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Sandra J. Hairston, and Dina J. King. United States Attorney's Office for the Middle and Western Districts of North Carolina, released today. And it's the same thing that I read you in the beginning of the live. This is all these same words in terms of the press release. As in any case, the government is prepared to review and examine new information related to the investigation should it become available. Meaning that they're on standby. Now, let's see what the attorneys for Shanquella Robinson's family does. Now let's see what the Mexican government officials, the Attorney General, Daniel De La Rosa, does on their side to escalate this case. Because that's what needs to take place, not only in Mexico, but here in the United States now that they've responded through Miss Dina J. King's office out of North Carolina, FBI field office. Let me go down the article real quick, and I thank you all for joining us tonight. 475 in the room. Much love to you.
Much love, and we glad y'all riding, man. We had to ride for Shanquella.
Most definitely.
When we got that news, we was running around crazy. Yeah. Like, nah, we got to go. We got to get to the round table, man. We got to bring this to the round table.
You caught me off guard too.
Yeah, we was in the midst of listening to the case with the California boys, and you just brought that out the blue. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. What did you just say?
Yeah, definitely, because we were going back and forth this afternoon, and we were actually listening to the trial of the West boys case out of California, where they have Miss Martinez, Jacqueline Wes's mom, is on the stand. She can't speak English, and she's got an interpreter that doesn't want to talk into the microphone, giving answers. And it was just a back and forth kind of thing. But let me digress from that. And this. The U.S. Attorney's Office of both the Middle and Western Districts of North Carolina and the FBI met with the family of Shanquella Robinson on Wednesday morning to share findings in the federal investigation. Highlighted here before you as prosecutors say they have informed the Robinson family that there is not enough evidence to warrant a U.S. prosecution for any federal crimes. Any.
Then we got to also remember, might not be nothing, but one of their sisters, ain't she worked for law enforcement? Remember that?
Wasn't it was it Elise?
I think it was Elise. Was it Elise's sister?
I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. She's a police officer. I don't
And
trust none of
so,
them.
And again, it just makes me wonder exactly what do they have. We know they got the video. We know that for sure.
Got to.
And they got the reports from Mexico. I mean, and out of everything that they have, no federal charges.
Yeah.
And it makes me question, oh man.
Judge Joe Brown said that video wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Right.
It wasn't enough. And the thing of it is, they can't prove, and this is just my opinion, that they can't prove that she sustained those injuries just within that 15-second clip that we got.
That's what they're saying.
So let me ask you this, because I think we talked about this several times. Okay, let's say they can't determine that, but they, Mexican officials, they pointed out Dejanay and said that was her in the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the friends gave her up when they eventually got to them?
I mean, I would hope so. I would think so.
Because think about it, like if the other 5 pointed the finger at her, that's not enough,
right? But then, and I would hope they would give details outside of what happened in that video.
Exactly.
Because understand this, remember, and I just did a video about it, the very last video I did, and I was like, it was certain things that we needed to think about. What if they said, oh, well, she failed? If it was true that the maid did find her slumped over the toilet, what if she did fall? So now the FBI, they can't determine, did she sustain these injuries? Because again, I would think that they spoke to the maid. So we don't know what all they have, but I'm just assuming that they would have the report from her.
They couldn't have told the truth if they said anything, or when they was interviewed, if they was interviewed, they didn't tell the truth. Because if they'd have gave the truth, I think this would be going a totally different way. Unless, like you said, what if she did fall in that bathroom?
Right.
Which I don't believe that, but it's a possibility. But
it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. And I just don't. I've always been, wondering exactly what do they have. And then remember, Shanquella's dad told us when he talked to them, the Mexican authorities, he was saying that he was waiting on statements. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yep.
So it made me feel as if they took some type of statement from these people down in Cabo.
And so again, it would make you think, how did the FBI take those statements? Face to face or over the phone?
Here, I mean, I would think they would be face to face, but I'm talking about, so my thing is this: if they gave a statement when they were in Cabo, and then they talked to the FBI once they got here, I mean,
the FBI wasn't involved at that point when he made that statement, did it? Or were they?
No, because he said this was before they even got Shanquella's body, before she was even sent back.
So he must be talking about getting statements from the Mexican authorities.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So and so that tells me, because the police was on the scene down there at the Cabo. That's in the concierge statement. The police showed up.
Right.
Yep, they did.
So they got statements from them, and then the FBI should have taken their own statements. And even with all of that, no federal charges.
I just feel the statements they gave them was all alcohol poison. And I feel like that's why it originally came out in that news article that you showed earlier, that there's no foul play.
Right.
Because of what they said. And that's why they got the hell on them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if they see this video, They
Right.
ain't gonna let us leave from here.
Right. Right. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
as of today, um, I've highlighted this article in blue. On Wednesday afternoon, Shanquella Robinson, an attorney representing Robinson's family, no relation, said at a press conference that the Mexican authorities have completed the requisite paperwork to extradite a suspect in the case. But it wasn't immediately clear if Mexican authorities have formally requested the extradition of a specific person. I'm saying, wait a minute. It wasn't clear. What wasn't clear? When Daniel De La Rosa on another YouTube channel stated that it was clear based upon the aggressor in the video that that's who they were talking about, was who the extradition was for. A spokeswoman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Charlotte referred questions about extradition requests to the Department of Justice in D.C. Robinson told WFAE last month there had been no formal extradition request to return the woman to Mexico to face charges there. So that kind of says to me, was that the paperwork that I guess didn't make it? Is that part of the package that didn't make it? They sent the case file, but extradition? We go back to her press conference and she makes that same statement. That's why I isolated it, because she said it in a way that says, wait a minute. She tipped her hand. In other words, it wasn't complete. They said it was complete. But when it got here, we're looking for something in addition to it.
Right.
That didn't make it complete. So I wanted to bring that article to our attention tonight.
Oh, man. So, I mean, are they saying that? So basically what they're telling us is there's no extradition paperwork. And so not only is there's no extradition paperwork, they ain't gonna do nothing to her here. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
Unfortunately. That's the unfortunate part of this whole thing today.
And naturally,
this is where everybody's feeling that. But they don't have the details as to the reason why this has occurred the way it has. So this is the details, folks.
Natcha said, remember the wording that Mexico used in the paperwork. Could that be, because we already called, was this wordplay? Is that what we're dealing with right here, right now?
That was the first thing you brought to the roundtable, was wordplay based on femicide, homicide.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that what we up against right now? Like I'm just not really able to wrap my mind around this,
So the paperwork got sent from Mexico to the Office of International Affairs, and they shipped that paperwork out to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice sent it over to the attorney, the prosecuting attorney out of North Carolina, and who knows who could have read what Spanish looked like or how it was supposed to be translated into the laws in which our country is governed by. And hence the problem started there. And then hence the delay began as well. Clarification still taking more time than ever to have anything executed or any actionable information executed to begin a process. But then again, if you don't have the additional paperwork called the extradition,
Right.
what the hell are they supposed to do?
Right. And this what I was nervous about this. Charity know, she a smoke sister. She know I was worried about this.
Yeah.
The outcome not being what we thought. And I gave the example of the autopsy that we did over here not matching Mexico stuff. But at that point, I'm not trusting Mexico. But now, hell, I don't trust the US. That's where I'm at with this. I don't trust none of this. I don't. But I mean, it would help to know what all they got. Like I said, give us the paperwork. We'll bring the paperwork to the round table. We will figure this out.
Yeah, because I'd love to put my eyes on the U.S. autopsy. I want to know exactly, word for word, line by line, and page by page, what their autopsy says compared to the Mexican autopsy that we had reviewed before, and do a comparison check.
And then, do you remember when we did the round table and we were breaking down the new documents? We went over the autopsy, what they gave us. Nowhere in there, one of the things that we pointed out, John, was nowhere in there did it say anything about a back injury. So was this the autopsy from the FBI, or was this the autopsy from Mexico?
Right. And then again, nothing about alcohol poisoning, to say the least.
Nothing. We didn't even have the toxicology report attached to it. So I'm a little confused. Was that the FBI autopsy, or was that Mexico autopsy? Because nowhere in there did it say anything about a back injury. Nowhere. They even gave us the pictures, the diagrams. Remember when they gave us this? When they gave us this.
Right. Yeah, they definitely gave us the autopsy diagrams. That was part of a page in the autopsy that specified certain areas, anatomical areas, regarding Shanquella's body.
And there was no markings, no back injury, no. I'm just confused. This confuses me.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I would want to know first. That's a detail we need. Which autopsy was this? Was it Mexico or was it US? Because if it was Mexico's and there's no indication of a cracked spine and all of that, if it's Mexico's, then where the hell did they get the information to put on the death certificate?
Right. There you go. There you go. And then where did they get the time of death from?
Absolutely.
If the time of death was different than the time of death given in the police report by the alleged doctor.
This was a rush job.
Oh, man.
So this becomes a curveball trying to draw a straight line, telling the truth. And it's just not working.
The math ain't mathing.
No, it's not adding up.
I'm so late.
No, the math ain't mathing. But again, like I said, I questioned the death certificate, but we just kind of honed in on the time that they had on there. But my thing is this, as a official report, if I question one thing, I got to question everything on this report. Now I got to question the injuries, because these injuries that they told us that she had, now even the FBI saying, nope, we didn't find that. Really?
Because it was critical to the timeline we were trying to put together. And you brought a lot of material from the police report, the autopsy, the other YouTuber, the reporter, that information as well, because we tried to incorporate everything that we could find that was relatable to tying together the timeline.
Right.
And you really isolated the segments that we needed to really focus on to begin making sense out of it. And I love working with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was just trying to get the details.
Yeah.
The devil was always in the details. And that was one of those other things that I took issue with that little bit of video footage that they gave us. It wasn't enough. And so we went back and forth on, all these maneuvers within that video that could have potentially caused those injuries. Now the injuries are in question. Because I just can't see one autopsy being different from the other. I can't wrap my mind around that.
Right.
Can't either. Don't make sense.
You Chi-Town, you said that's the autopsy report released from the FBI. We need to get that pulled up.
And like I said, the downside is that we won't get a toxicology report. See, because I guess I could say it from my point of view, we were able to go through that video piece, that 17-second video piece, during the course of it, and isolate that there was a pill bottle on the side of Shanquella's bed, if that was her bed, in that room at the time of the assault, sitting there beside the bed. And we highlighted that. So we'll never know what that is that may have been a part of her chemistry during the time of the assault. That's the unfortunate thing, because the toxicology ties into the autopsy. When you can put both toxicology and autopsy reports together, they mesh. Left hand and right hand come together, and when they're held together, they become one. So yeah.
Yeah, I downloaded it.
You got it?
Yeah, I think I got it over here.
I was downloading it too. Look, we got quiet.
Downloading.
I gotta figure that's why you was quiet. This is the same.
I'm over here. The chat's going crazy, and you guys downloading stuff. Man, I'm downloading stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it got real quiet. I already knew. Yeah, I already knew what it was. I was looking forward to. I'm downloading it too. Thank you, Chi-Town.
Appreciate
it. We need to look at this.
Yeah, most certainly.
We definitely need to look at it.
We have to lay our eyes on it, because it's important to have something to compare what was already given to us.
Yeah.
And to see if the Mexican authorities did due diligence.
Absolutely.
Because we're not used to having something called a necropsy told to us as being an autopsy.
Yeah.
We had to look it up. But an autopsy in America will state autopsy report.
Right.
Or medical examiner's report.
Look, everybody was downloading it. Lena, look, I was downloading it. Charity was downloading it. Look, we got quiet up here at the round table. Everybody was riding, baby. We got our foot on the gas.
For real.
We need that. Yeah, we definitely need it.
Yeah, because once we're able to lay our eyes on it, then we can see word for word how everything is laid out. All of what was covered, internal, external, time of acceptance, temperature of the body, pathological findings, the doctor's opinion on their overall procedure, everything.
Yeah, it's 19 pages. I got it pulled up. Boss, you got it pulled up? You gonna pull it up, or
you go ahead? Go ahead.
Look, what we doing? What we gonna do? Right, baby. Wait, let's see. Let's do this. Hold on. Yeah, let's get it pulled up.
Y'all gonna put me to work? I got a feeling I'm being set up here. Y'all gonna put me to work?
Y'all ain't gonna come with that buzz.
Oh man. Yeah, let's put John to work. Don't tell him.
Oh man, that was funny.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Oh my goodness. All right. Let me just do this. I'm going to take the comment down.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right. Is there any way we can blow the screen up? Let's see. Okay. And then is there any way we can take the left border out? Yeah. Good. And then we can blow it up.
Blow it up some more?
Yeah. Boom. One more.
One more, John?
One more again.
Do you need no glasses?
Boom, right there. No, I want everyone to see it.
You know,
I want everybody to see it. I want everybody to see it. Yeah, it's on the screen. Damn, John, go ahead.
I mean, we didn't blow it up so much. I got to scroll. Scroll with this.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. All right, so we got the Mecklenburg County Medical Examiner's Office. Blah, 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 Charlotte, North Carolina. Got it. See? Look at the title. Report of Autopsy Examination is the titling of this document. And then we have in the, if we go back up in the upper right-hand corner, see what is that, a seal? Yeah.
NC Office of the Chief Medical Examiner.
There you go. There's a seal there. Okay, so... man, we're looking out tonight. So we've got document identifier, we've got the name, we've got age, race, and sex, authorization. All right, Thomas D. Owens is the medical doctor here. Identification, body identified, papers and tags. Environment, this was date of exam was November 17th.
I told you it had to be between the 10th and the 19th.
There you go. See?
That was the time frame. Absolutely.
Time of exam is 0900. Persons present is Liza Fisher and Richard Lane. Certification, cause of death, undetermined. See summary and interpretation section. Forensic pathologist, Thomas D. Owens, MD. Date of final report was done. Look at the date.
Today. Okay. Well,
from what date to now?
November the 17th.
November the 17th to April the 12th.
Oh my goodness. I never knew an autopsy would take this long.
Shut up, John. Don't start.
Just start, John.
I know. I'm just flexing a little bit because I had to burn off what I felt earlier this afternoon. Now it's burning off because now we got an extra piece of information to go by. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
you shot down.
Yep, my smoke sister came through. She stayed riding.
Lean a little, say never, mate.
Never, mate.
Yeah.
The decedent is a 25-year-old female who, by reports, was on vacation with other persons / friends in Cabo, Mexico, where she was reported to have had heavily consumed alcohol on 10/28 of 2022.
Look at that time.
Continuing into the early hours, of 10/29/2022.
That time, 54.
She was also assaulted on the morning of 10/29/2022 at approximately 7 to 7:30 a.m. local time.
Oh man.
Here we go, folks. See.
And a portion of this was captured on the cell phone. Okay.
They definitely recorded that. So, if any one of you would love to join me in this reading,
I want to read
reading
that
preliminary stuff here. This is live, folks. You can
let me read this first part real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm tripping about what I'm reading right here.
Yeah, go ahead, because I already read it. Go ahead.
She reportedly went back to her room bed following the incident. There's no further information available on her condition until she was discovered shortly before noon, lying face down on the bathroom floor by housekeeping who notified her friends. Okay, I'm gonna continue. At 2:15 p.m., friends requested medical care for her, reporting that she had consumed too much alcohol and needed hydration.
But understand this. But wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Because for them to put this in their report about her being found by the housekeeper, it makes me believe that that housekeeper told them this. Like, this is part of the report. The housekeeping statement saying, "Look, I found her laying face down in the bathroom." But then not only that, I'm gonna take you back one. When it says right here, she reportedly went back to her room and bed following the incident. So was that not her room?
That was not her room. You know who room that was, right? You know, we talked about it. That was Dejanay's room.
Oh, man.
So we got some kind of confirmation here.
Oh, man.
See how good this is?
Shout out to Shot-Town.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So around 2:15 p.m., friend requested medical care, blah, 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 read all that. Shanquella was evaluated at the residence by a doctor at around 3:15 p.m. who found her to be minimally responsive and clearly dehydrated. During attempts to place an IV for hydration at the residence, she went into convulsion crisis followed by complete cardiopulmonary arrest at 4:49 p.m. Multiple rounds of resuscitation were unsuccessful, and she was pronounced deceased at the residence at 5:57 p.m.
And look, it says her body was returned to the United States. Her death certificate listed the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury with atlas luxation.
All right, so right there, don't move. Here we go. She underwent a minimally invasive examination, partial autopsy in Mexico on the morning of 10/30/2022. Her body was then returned to the United States. Her death certificate listed the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury with atlas luxation.
Right.
Now, so there was a minimal autopsy.
Absolutely.
Not a full autopsy,
not
but
a full.
minimal, a partial. Now, that's interesting.
It is. It really is. Because why not do a full autopsy?
Right.
And then my thing is this: if it was partial, you know, it goes back to the 3:15 that they put on there. Hell, that time could have came from when the doctor got there. They just said put 3:15 on there.
Yeah.
And roll with it. Everybody roll with it. But a partial?
Yeah.
Well.
And that points us into a specific direction here. On 11/16/2022, I was contacted by CNPD Detective B. Finch on behalf of the FBI, asked to perform a complete autopsy examination in order to determine her cause and manner of death. The body was transported from the local funeral home to the Mecklenburg County Medical Examiner's office for autopsy examination on 11/17/2022. Please see report of the investigation by medical examiner for further historical details.
We should have had this before, so we could have got that map work together.
Right.
I want to see this county. Yeah, I want to see this on the map.
So there you go, folks. A partial autopsy was performed on Shanquella before she got back to the United States. That's been answered now. You see? So nothing was 100% before then.
Right.
Nothing was 100% before then. Not even the death certificate was 100% because the damn thing was never signed off on anybody, with anybody.
Right.
You see? So now we have this authorized by the FBI. Once she got back, to now begin a procedure as to thoroughly examining as best as they could under the circumstances of Shanquella Robinson being in Mexico, now then being shipped back to the United States, and then before the funeral that took place on the 19th, as to what was her cause of death, cause and manner of death.
Hey, check
So
this
now
out.
we got it. Wow.
Check this out. Stop right here where it says further examination.
Yep, I was just about to. Yep.
The brain was transfixed from the spinal cord just below the brain stem. What?
Okay,
so they
just read? Say it again.
Right here, say further examination reveals that the brain was transected from the spinal cord just below the brain stem.
Let's look. Let's see.
Examination of the dura reveals a small amount of crumbly, solid, red-brown blood material in the left posterior fossa and adherent to the inner surface of the dura. No skull fractures are present. Examination of the body cavities reveal that the chest cavities have been previously accessed with bilateral vertical cuts through the costal cartilage to the rib just lateral to the sternum. Okay, so they're telling us about the pre-autopsy or partial autopsy that was conducted before she got to them.
And transected mean to cut across. So the brain was cut across from the spinal cord just below the brainstem.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, I'm going to read this real deep tonight.
Yeah, we're going to get in there.
We're definitely going to get into it.
We have to find out if this was a complete spinal cord severage, because we never knew the degree or the severity of the atlas luxation. All we knew that there was one present.
Right. Says there is no evidence of injury to this upper airway section and no hemorrhage in the surrounding neck muscle or fracture, hemorrhage of the mid to lower cervical and upper thoracic vertebral column.
The hiatus is intact. Further examination reveals that all the organs are in their correct anatomical locations, and the pericardium has been previously opened. Typical of an embalmed body, it states typical of an embalmed body, so they do have an embalmed body here. Right. The organs are bloodless and firm, and there are trocar defects present in the heart, base of the lungs, stomach, liver, bowel, and kidneys. The organs are not otherwise been previously removed or sections in any way, so she was intact. Removal and sectioning of the organs reveal no evidence of other trauma or disease process. The lower trachea and bilateral main bronchi are obstructed with semi-solid, crumbly blood-like material and possibly food consistent with vomitus, vomiting.
Mm.
So she was throwing up.
She was throwing up, which is why Nazir said when he got there, remember, he was like, I turned her over on her side, and I went and got a bag.
So she got up and went back to her room?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there are no fractures of the ribs or the remainder of the vertebral column. Slight lateral scoletic curvature is present in the upper to mid-thoracic spine. Curvature is present in the upper to mid. Okay. Posterior neck dissection is performed, and there is no evidence of hemorrhagic or disruption of any of the musculature, ligaments, or spinal elements. No fracture are seen on the posterior of the spinal column. No fractures are seen on the posterior of the spinal column. There is no evidence of any disruption of the spinal column alignment or subluxation. The brain, dura, and spinal cord are sent for neuropathological consultation. Okay.
Yeah, we need to get down here to this blood testing right here.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Yeah. Look at this. Postmortem blood testing performed in Mexico does not reveal the presence of any commonly abused drugs. Testing for ethanol, which is alcohol, was reportedly performed but was not listed in the report. The ethanol result was later verbally reported in a discussion that they had on April the 3rd with officials in Mexico as negative. So there was no alcohol in her system, but they didn't discuss that
until the 3rd of April.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Look, no urine, no samples.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Like I said, without that, when you've got no urine, no liquid, no vitreous from the eyes, or other samples obtained during the original examination, no blood, vitreous, or urine was available for collection at the time of this autopsy. Then it's hard for toxicology to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
It's based on the history and autopsy findings, it is my opinion that the cause of death in this case is undetermined. But then you read a little further down, it said the hematoma found on her forehead is consistent with blunt force trauma. So out of all this stuff that they found in this that don't supposed to be a part of their findings, they still can't come up with nothing. Man, this is straight bull crap.
But listen, so when I pose that question, what if they're using this whole she fell? Because a fall, you can hit your head on something.
Absolutely, because I was just thinking she got up and walked back to her room. This is what they had to tell them, right? Because they wasn't there.
But once again, here's the assumption. That is the assumption.
That's an assumption. That's what they had to be told. Because they wasn't there. They can't assume that she just got up. Somebody had to tell them that.
No, I'm saying here the most significant findings at the autopsy
I got you.
are the hematoma on the forehead, the mild cerebral edema. You know how we go back and forth,
man. Making me mad right now, man.
Yeah, no, I don't mean to, but
no, this making me mad.
But hence we have to take under consideration what's being said here, hence their assumption. This is an assumption right here, a medical examiner's assumption.
So one or two things happen if it's true that she walked back to her room. She got to her room and somebody jumped on her again, or she actually did fall and hit her head on the sink or something.
Right. Because my thing is this. When we look at the fight video, she took a lot of head blows.
Yes, she did.
What if she got up and walked away from there? She dazed. You know what I mean? Maybe, and That's why I posed that question. What if they riding with she fell?
That's hard.
How will we be able to prove anything other than that? Because you can sustain these injuries from a fall.
Because how can you walk with an atlas luxation?
Correct.
So that had to if this is true, that had to happen after the camera went off and she walked back to her room, if that's true.
Right. Or if the procedures that they used to try to save her.
Possibly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. So these injuries that they wanted us to believe, maybe it came from the life-saving efforts.
Not no atlas luxation.
Yeah, I feel you.
not no atlas luxation.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate right now. We're doing this live on the fly. You understand?
Definitely. Right. The hematoma of the forehead is consistent with blunt force trauma. The mild cerebral edema is a non-specific finding, meaning they cannot determine, even at this point, anything that was the cause of the cerebral edema. They do give a description in the previous line, but cannot determine the cause in the latter line. Once again, it reminds me of the Kanika Jenkins case, where her cerebral edema was also nonspecific.
Right. Do you see this part right here?
Go ahead.
Come down. We'll say while they were reported postmortem blood testing result for ethanol was negative, the time interval between when she was involved in the assault and the time of her death, which is approximately 10.5 hours, is sufficient to allow for metabolism of any alcohol that may have remained in her system that morning from consumption the previous day and night.
See, so the time duration between her still being in Mexico and up until the time of this.
So they saying she should have still had alcohol in her system. That's what they're saying,
right?
But so what
was
she drinking at that table?
There was no presence of it. There was no presence of it.
Yeah, gone now.
Right.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
Gone now.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she was a heavy drinker like maybe the rest of them were. That's why. And again, I think they know that. That's why I know they didn't believe no dang on alcohol poison. I think
it is also not known if she consumed any additional alcohol following the assault that morning, which was also metabolized before she expired later that afternoon. There is a potential contribution of blunt force head trauma causing cerebral edema. Now we have a concussion present.
Yes. You know, in concussion, you know, that can leave you dazed.
Definitely. Persons with a concussion would be expected to initially exhibit an altered level of consciousness or even unconsciousness immediately after following the head trauma.
Right. But then look at, it says her level of consciousness immediately following the fight is not clearly documented, although she was able to return to her bedroom, bathroom area.
Now, what tells them that? What tells them that?
And hit her head on the in the bathroom.
Okay.
No, they told her. They told them that. They told them that. I'm telling you. They ain't just come up with this story in their head.
I told y'all I just did a video because when I found that whole, you know, when they were talking about the fall, that's what that guy De La Rosa reported back in November. That these kids was telling them that she fell. So my thing is this. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So what they telling us is after we see, where is it? After we see this, that Shanquella got up and walked away from this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're telling us.
Mm-hmm.
So from this right here,
she was able to get up off the floor, out of this position after the video shut off.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because you figure almost naturally, what would you want to do? Let's hypothetically walk with it, because you figure after that moment and that video shut off and she was able to get up, where do you think she would go?
It's to her room.
Right.
And to her room, and then
to the bathroom and look at her, look how bad
there
she
you go.
Absolutely.
There you go, boss. There you go, boss.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Let me go check out my injuries.
Yeah, lick them wounds.
There you go.
Yeah.
As a natural consequence to being hit in the head, thrown to the floor, kicked in the face, and being told to, get up, come on, let's go.
Yeah, all we know if old girl followed her back and then hit her again. All we know.
Yeah, we don't know what happened when that video cut off, and that's what I kept saying. I'm like, I don't know what happened when the video shut off.
Right. All right. So, is there anything on the report about friction burns? Brown sugar, we're getting to that. I mean, we're just on page 3?
Hey, look, we on page 4 now. We on page 4, baby, but we right.
Okay, page 4. There you go. Okay, so diagnosis is adult female with several abrasions and bruisings of the body. Now, these are bullet pointed, specific, approximately 2.5 inches by 2.5 inch area of bruising on the center and right side of the forehead, center and right side of the forehead, with an underlying 3.5 inch by 2 3/4 inch subgeal hemorrhage. That's the knot. That's the knot that she had on her forehead. Damn, 2 3/4 inch subgeal hemorrhage. So 3/8 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch abrasion within the bruising of the forehead. 1 1/2 inch by 1 inch area of abrasions on the right cheek, just inferior to the eye. Right cheek, right eye. Okay. Several superficial linear abrasions present on the upper and lower aspects of the arms. Bruising located on the right medial arm, forearm, and posterior right forearm. Abrasions of the posterior right hand and thumb. Pattern horizontal oriented abrasions extended across the lower abdomen and around to the right flank, lower back area. There were abrasions there too. Okay, multiple irregular geographical abrasions along the bilateral lower abdomen and upper anterior thighs. That was a concern.
Yes.
I think we tried to cover that in our last live pertaining to those injuries. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, multiple.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, multiple irregular superficial abrasions to the right hip and lateral upper thigh area. I'm just wondering if that was due to the throw and fall. Multiple linear and cervicular linear abrasions located on the bilateral medial inner thighs. Linear abrasions on the right leg. Irregular abrasions present on the left lateral ankle. Irregular abrasions present on the left lateral ankle, exterior portion of the ankle. Okay. Previous postmortem examination and embalmed body with absence of intravascular blood. Sutured incisions of the head and midline anterior of the body. Okay, that's when they closed her back up.
Right.
Prior to the opening of the calvarium and the transection of the brainstem spinal cord, prior opening of the chest and abdominal cavities with sectioning of the larynx and trachea, that was opened up.
Right.
Trocar injuries to the internal organs of the chest and abdomen. No blood, urine, or vitreous fluids available.
I just don't understand that.
Because that would have given us toxicology. That right there would have given us toxicology.
Right. But then here they have toxicology results negative. Ethanol results not in report, verbally reported as negative.
Right. You can't get toxicology with nothing. so
but my thing is this, why wouldn't Mexico do that? Or I mean, are they telling me that Mexico didn't do that?
Right.
I mean, we know they did a partial. We just learned that.
Correct. But they didn't do what they should have done, which was according to, I guess, how they were directed by the police investigation, whether to do a toxicology report or not. She wasn't a Mexican citizen. Oh, she's going back home to her country. Hey, don't waste your time, money, energy getting into all that. Do a preliminary, do a partial, get the findings, write it down on the death certificate, and then get ready. If somebody claims the body, get it ready for shipping. And I'm sorry to put it in a blunt way, but that's the way I felt that this was done. And it's unfortunate, but they didn't want to be bothered with this problem. This was a problem.
Oh, man.
And that's how they treated it. You got these people from the United States coming down to vacation and stuff like that. Things get out of hand. They might have had too much to drink. Somebody got hurt, yada, yada, yada. Well, you know, we got to send the police out there to find out what happened and this, that, and the other thing. And all of a sudden somebody crashes, loses their life. Well, you know how to write it up. Now they write it back up. They write it up as a femicide, knowing damn well that she's from the United States and we don't do femicide here. You see,
right.
I hate to put it like a copy and paste kind of thing, but that's what they did.
Oh, man.
And this cuts me up. I mean, reading this, we're getting to the truth. Finally, we're getting somewhere because this is a big move. Now we get to see something that, you know, not a lot of people will even get into because this is all complicated.
So this is just kind of going over what you just discussed.
Yeah.
About, you know, the abrasions on her arms and things like that.
Correct.
So I'm just trying to find something else that sticks out.
That sticks out, yeah. But her body nonetheless will tell us the story. And I've always said, Shanquella suffered from a traumatic event. And they cannot tie, legally is what they're saying, what we heard today, they cannot tie the two together for murder.
They can't. They can't. This is the problem.
You know, to them, it's circumstantial. Unfortunately, it's circumstantial to the fact. Not enough to hold a solid, not enough for them to even indict.
Right.
Or bring to a grand jury to indict. You know, here are findings according to the Mexican autopsy, U.S. autopsy, Mexican death certificate, video equipment, the video that was seen on social media, posts that were taken from social media, as well as evidence taken from the phone, both pre and post attack, to get an indictment is what we were told today. It's not enough evidence to prosecute.
Right. Mm. Yeah, this man.
Yeah, but you know what we're gonna be doing behind the scenes to this, right?
Yeah, you already know. We're gonna break this report down. Because it looks like the rest of it, they broke some stuff down, but you pretty much just they gave a summary in the beginning of this.
Is there anything under pathological findings in this report? Attachments.
They got body diagrams. Let me see.
Yeah. Because that should pinpoint. Okay.
Good. Here we go.
All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Go real slow here.
Okay. You want me to just pause right here for a second?
Right there. Yeah. Let everybody see exactly what and this is the good stuff that people can visually see from the words that they read. What are you guys talking about? Well, here's the diagram. This is what the medical examiner is visually inspecting. Now, notice that item. Yeah, right there.
Yep. I was already on. Yeah.
Right there. So you got bruising under the right eye, which was found on her cheek, as indicated there. Also identified in terms of inches, but also, too, the head wound.
Yeah.
Which is big.
That was the hematoma, right?
Right, correct. That's it. So we got some kind of abrasive scarring on the back of her, down to the lower tailbone, to the right of the diagram that you're looking at, as well as to the left side, lower abdominal trauma indicated, or abrasions indicated in that same region we talked to you guys about before.
Right. And they said she had a lot of abrasions down here. That just,
yeah. Now you get abrasions down there, you're also going to have hemorrhaging, which causes swelling, and that begins to make sense in regards to the pictures we saw of, I guess, her body being laid out when the Red Cross was standing over her. Why did she look so big? And her shirt was above her stomach, and the legs were all thick, and it was almost like, is that Shanquella? No, can't be. That ain't her, type of view.
Mondi, I was asking the same thing, looking at this diagram. Like, was she drug around here? Like how would you get all these abrasions?
Right.
Because we seen, that little portion of the video, and Dejanay was, if that was her, she was throwing blows. So all this abrasion stuff, I don't understand.
Yeah, and that's excuse me, that's the part that can also be coined as undetermined, because if you have somebody moving Shanquella on the floor, you can't really tell because the doctor was there doing defibrillation as well. She's also on the floor. And defibrillation, depending on how many times they hit her, could cause those same type of abrasions on the back of her body. You see, so it's almost like there's a masking here what happened post-doctor versus that which happened after the doctor. And this is what's hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't understand this. Let me see what else they got in here. Oh, here we go.
All right, so we got side view, right eye. See, that's significant. We talked about the hemorrhaging of the area of the right eye in our last live.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we still have that.
That's right here. Where you have an internal hemorrhaging that's occurring from brain trauma. Now, the brain trauma in this chart is on the right side where you can see the red, but her trauma was more from the front where you have the protrusion that's located in the autopsy report. So you've got massive hemorrhaging happening more in the front than on the sides, but there are lateral parts of this same type of trauma all around her head.
Right.
You see. And whatever happened here in the anatomical sense of the defibrillation that was going on, I think it was 6 or 7 times they tried to defibrillate her.
Right. Yeah, 6.
Okay. Now you're going to get rib cage compressions and skin burns. Now, I said skin burns, there's a thing that they use called a surgical lube that they utilize depending on whether they're like paddles or something like that, that they, brush on those paddles for conductivity. In other words, if I put this on you, it's almost like, soap and water on your hands. Now you touch your face. That's conductivity. You feel your hands, you feel the soap, the water, and then you feel your face. Well, that kind of conductivity has to happen in order for the charge to be 100%. Now, if they didn't have time to use any kind of lubricant called the soap on this particular aspect of it, you can burn somebody. And hence it was brought up that there were burns, skin burns on Shanquella in this region.
Right. And I know I've seen some people in here comment about the bruising to her inner thigh. Did y'all see it on this one up here?
Right. All right. So you got the
right in here.
That's exactly where it was. And what did I ask you? I said, 54, not for nothing. Do you believe somebody kicked her there?
Oh, wow.
When a guy, and I'm talking to the guys in the room, if a guy gets kicked there, he's going down. The world's going to turn. He's going to lose his breath. For how many minutes, Lord knows, we don't know, but he's going to be hurt for a while. And I'm saying it's one thing to a guy, but it's going to be something else to a woman if she's impacted there. So I thought, well, maybe when she was thrown and the way we saw her land, because she landed with both legs open, according to the video, could she have taken a major impact there that would have caused some kind of swelling or hemorrhaging in that area that would have dilated that area?
Had to.
Yeah.
I mean,
you would think. I said that, and I said, I don't know. I'm not a woman, but I don't know. But there was an injury there that was significant enough to make a record of it.
Absolutely. And we can't overlook that. Right. We can't overlook that. This area right here, just this whole area.
Yeah. And see, that's questionable to me.
It is.
You know, as to what happened in that area. Well, you know, it's very specific, it's concentrated, it's condensed to her genitalia, for lack of, you know, for the best word I can use, close to it, that there was some severe injury there. So as above, so below type theme, you know, she got hit from the top as well as the midsection in this case. There was something that hit her in this area.
And I keep hearing people talk about her being sexually assaulted. We still going through we just now looking at these reports like y'all just you know, we just now saying this. The autopsy report that we had prior to receiving this didn't indicate anything about a rape kit. We didn't read anything in there about that. And I have yet to see it in this report. But again, we haven't gone all the way through it. But trust and believe, we're going to break this all the way down. She took a beating in this area right here, y'all. She sustained a lot of injuries in this area right here.
Yeah.
Let me see if they got anything else in here that we need to pull out.
And we are extending our time on this react. We just want you to know.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be a quick in and out, but thanks to Chi-Town for sending us this. We thought we'd just take a moment to go a little extra for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what is that? The right side of the right hip? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right eye, right side, right hip. Also the left side.
Yeah.
Just above the left hip, near the abdominal area.
It's almost like, I mean, I get the feeling like, was they kicking her while she was down?
Yeah, would make you think so.
But then understand this, if that's the case, we don't see that in that video.
Right. Which so makes you think something else had occurred after that video went off.
There's more to it. And we've been saying it. It's more to it.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Got to be.
It's got to be. There is the ankle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it was the left side, lower exterior ankle abrasion, which was a half centimeter wide. Said 3/4 by 1.5. Okay, so there's some kind of abrasion there.
Yeah, but that was in the other one too, though. Don't forget.
Yeah. So what do we got? Pathological consultation report. Okay. Staff pathologist William Harrison, MD. Final results. Laboratory results. Okay. Expired on 10/29/2022. Autopsied. What is the date?
Why I say 12/15? I thought earlier in the report it said November the 17th.
All right, so somebody's writing a final here. Hey, woke boss up. Good.
No, I've been woke, man.
No, he does dates like I do. You show me a date that don't click. Wait a minute now.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
No, I had to go run for my daughter. I had to run to the store for my daughter.
Okay. Yeah, this don't. Yeah, I'm confused by this.
All right, hypoxic ischemic brain injury is the final. So we've got a brain injury, focal Some acronoid hemorrhage of the left frontal and parietal lobes. Thoracic spinal.
Diagnosis, hip.
Okay.
Hypoxic.
I think I need.
Ischemic brain.
Chi-Town said she needs to be the fourth member on the roundtable team.
Yeah, we definitely gonna need your help.
Yeah, because Shamina, she does her thing too.
Yeah,
Shamina's on top of it as well.
Yeah, we need y'all. We ride together, baby.
Serious.
We ride together. That's it.
All right. So in the internal examination, a doctor's going to, describe, everything internal now that she is open.
Yeah.
Back up. Microscopic description.
Okay.
Her brain, how much the brain weighs, and the lungs, how much the lung weighs, and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
we can go ahead down.
Okay.
Microscopic description. Yep. Specimens. End of report. Nothing to go to. Tox. Okay. Toxicology report. No ethanol results listed in report. Where did they send did they send this out?
You see how they wrote that in there?
That's weird to me.
They wrote
this in here.
Because you got to understand, they received this information through a conversation.
Oh, yes, they did.
Wow.
Don't forget. I ain't forgot.
Video conference on 4/3 with the medical exam and other persons in Mexico, including lab. Ethanol was tested, but what did they say?
Results.
But no results were included in the report. You know how to read. You know what they say.
No, I didn't know if that say no or ARO. I couldn't see that. Don't do me like that.
No, I'm saying no. It's just unbelievable what they say. I thought you were saying like,
No, it looked like it said ARO, but I see it now. That end was looking kind of funny.
But they reported it as negative. But it's not in the reports.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Right. So now you got problem to address. The investigating agent requested testing of the biological samples of the female body, who in life bore the name of Shanquella.
Oh my God. Jeez. They didn't have nobody proofread the report or nothing.
They don't know how to speak the English or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
No, don't start.
Okay. Shanquella. Okay, people, don't root me on now because I'll keep going.
Yeah, stop.
Shanquella. Yeah, because he will.
Y'all don't know John, boy. John is a clown. That's rolling backstage.
For the following detection of drug abuse, obviously, couldn't find any. That's the problem.
Yep.
At least they put it up top. Trace A.4 brown paper bag containing a test tube with a blood sample, approximately 6.0 milliliters, is included. The samples received as of January 3rd of 2023.
Oh, they received it on my birthday.
Yep. What was her? When was her birthday?
January the 9th.
The 9th, yeah. Her birthday was my mom's birthday. Yeah, okay.
Let's see what else they got.
All right, so methodological use, high resolution liquid chromatography, coupled with a mass spectrometry. Okay, like we all know what the hell that is. Okay. Okay. They tried to check for median compounds. All right, amphetamines, meth, all the drugs, but keep going down the line and look at the last column.
Not detected.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep, because they have to check it. It's by law they would have to check it. Keep going. Look at the right column, folks.
Nothing.
It's nothing there.
And they say they cannot determine.
It has to be a part of a person's death that they checked for external. What is it? Drugs, for lack of a better word. Conclusions after applying the techniques described above to the biological samples of the female body whose life bore the name of Shanquella Robinson, the following conclusions are established. First, the presence of drugs listed in the results tables were not detected in the blood samples identified in trace A.4. Second, the presence of controlled therapeutic drugs listed in the result table was not detected in the blood sample identified in A trace 4. Okay. Because you had nothing to test.
Right.
Respectfully.
Oh, man. Okay.
Da-da-da-da. Laboratory coordinator, Maria de Jesus Bejarano Uzeta, and forensic chemist expert Fabiola Guadalupe. Oh, these names.
I know, right?
Hey, God, it's like crowns.
You do a really good job with that, though, John.
Everybody's got 4 names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's the end of the report, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it.
Look at what we did as a bonus on tonight's RoundTable React. Now, this was unplanned too.
It really was. it really was.
It was. We're supposed to be meeting backstage.
Oh yes. I think we were set up. Send them the autopsy report. They'll make John read it.
Right.
Such a great job, my brother.
They'll make John read it. I want to.
That's how you be
hear him read
it. Yeah, that's how John be ratting. You know, but I think especially after going through that report, y'all want to jump to this speak your piece?
Yeah, let's go. Since we're doing overtime, it's gonna be good.
Right.
We might as well kill it and kill it all. Let's get it all.
So yeah, we're gonna drop the link. We might as well keep ratting. And if I mean, I know emotions are running high right now. You know, I know that. So yeah. we gonna drop the link. So if y'all want to come up and talk, that's what we're here to do. Come on, get up here to this round table.
Let's do it.
You know, yeah. I mean, it's messed up, but again, all we had was that video, and because of that, we tried to fit everything into it. Like, she must have died right here. When she hit the floor, that must have broke her neck. And you know, when we tried to.
Shot Town in the building.
There we go.
Yeah, I think we ran too far with that video.
Yeah. All right, we want to go ahead and bring up Miss Shot Town.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Hey,
Shot Town.
Hey.
What's up? What's up?
What's good?
Y'all know I'm pissed the hell off.
I know you are.
This whole investigation is straight bullshit. I'm so sorry, y'all, but I go hard for stuff like this. Keys, y'all, you know how I am.
Yeah.
But this don't make no sense, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't understand why the FBI didn't immediately get on this, because this autopsy is some bullshit. Like, I mean, how you gonna have video conferences with people across in another country? Why not go and, you know, take the trip to see it, have boots on the damn ground. Right. Do a thorough investigation if you're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I personally, when I do something, I'm gonna put my heart and my soul into it to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the damn T's are crossed. You feel me?
Yep.
This girl didn't just kill her damn self. It just don't make no sense. And I'm sorry, I'm not mad at nobody. I'm just frustrated because y'all, I couldn't believe when I heard the news and then I watched the press conference as they were doing it like real time. I just couldn't understand. I had a lot of damn questions. It's like both Mexico and the FBI failed Shanquella.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I mean, I can't even ride with this half-ass autopsy report that the FBI put out because it's crazy. We have a lot of inconsistencies. I know it's a long report, but I was definitely reading because remember my background is in healthcare, so I do understand the language. It's not matching up to what's going on and what was reported by the Mexico officials.
Right.
So if we go back to when this actually originally happened, right? The prosecutor over there in Baja, he initially ran with what Cabo 6 was actually reporting to them.
Exactly.
Why?
And that was the first cause of this to be a delay because
Exactly.
they said in the original report or news article, no foul play. And that's because
exactly.
And that's just because of what they told them. And they went with it.
I mean, it's just like the blind was leading the damn blind here.
Right.
You know, I understand that, in another country, things are going to be different. But an investigation of this magnitude where somebody resulted in a death, all of that should be the same across the board.
Right. I agree with that.
It's crazy. I just cannot believe that we are here. And you called it from the beginning when we first got on this case, Keys.
Yep.
Yeah.
She did. Yep. She did.
How can you conclusively get solid report or solid evidence or results, I should say, of a legitimate I'm sorry, I'm just thinking, y'all, I'm so damn mad. I can't even think straight.
Yeah.
To get legitimate report results, this autopsy by the Fed should have been done immediately when that body landed here in the United States.
I agree.
Why was there a delay in getting the autopsy done after the body was embalmed? Because in my opinion, once the body is embalmed, that is definitely going to conflict with the results from the Mexican medical examiner.
Correct.
We're talking about a licensed official.
Correct.
You putting a lot on the line because, of course, if you sign that, that's your ass.
That's why they didn't sign the death certificate.
Absolutely. It just don't make no sense. I don't even understand. It's like the FBI just, of course, we realize that they didn't prioritize this case, and possibly if they had done that, we would have gotten better results, in my opinion, because this just don't make no sense. You mean to tell me that the medical examiner is going to put his license on the line and say that she didn't have a broken spine or broken neck? I mean, I don't know. This is the math ain't math, and 1 + 1 in this situation is not 2.
Right. I agree with that.
Shit. I mean,
and that's and you remember from our smoke sessions, that was one of the things I feared, that the autopsies were going to be different. We ran with what the Mexican authorities gave us. We ran with that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and they just had us in limbo because at that point now we don't know what they're doing over here.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, who does a half-ass autopsy report? I didn't even think that there was a such thing as a partial autopsy. Who the hell does that?
Why even do that?
Exactly. You don't even do it if you're not going to complete the entire process from beginning to damn end. And now everybody's all over the damn place. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about trying to trusted officials. These people are trained to do their prospective jobs. And in this situation, in my opinion, Mexico and FBI then dropped the ball.
Right.
I said it was a rush.
But it does tell us something, though. You know what it tells us?
What's that?
Watch this. Since we just read the autopsy report that you sent us, it does tell us that the Mexicans did a partial autopsy.
Right. But why?
Right.
You would think that instead of believing what these
Now, we
kids
didn't
are
know
telling
that.
them,
We didn't know that.
right?
Now
But I'm
we
just saying
do.
they knew that though.
Right.
Both
But
the
I'm just saying
Mexican
we didn't know.
officials and FBI.
Right. But we didn't know. We didn't know. Now we do.
They don't care. They don't,
Exactly.
they're
This is a smack in the
Americans.
face. Because trust and believe, they been did this. They just released this shit to appease us. We're not illiterate. We are some professionals here. You know, we can think
Yeah.
independently and critically for ourselves too.
Right.
Right.
Not
Right.
all of them are
Right.
stupid.
Absolutely.
Not all of them
Right.
are stupid.
I
Absolutely.
mean, come on now. We ain't fall off the Turner truck last night. What the hell? Shit.
Yeah.
I just cannot believe that I mean, if somebody has died, whether they're over here that died or even, you know, wherever in another country, you're just gonna run with what they're telling y'all. You're
They
not
would
gonna just do due diligence. Where's
they
due
would
process here?
they would rather jump on a story that involved 4 Americans that went down there, not on a vacation though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that got caught up in some cartel stuff.
Right.
And look how fast they jumped on that.
Exactly.
And this is after the fact of what happened to Shanquella.
Right. So did her name have to be Natalie Holloway in order to get the
See what I'm
attention that she
Yeah,
deserved?
yeah,
Talk.
Come on.
yeah. See?
I
Talk.
don't understand. Is it because she's black? She deserves the same due process as anybody else. I mean, when we heard about her and other cases that you know involved our lighter, brighter brothers and sisters, they stay in the press in the news days on days on days.
Right.
You have all kind of news channels, you know, constantly reporting on that, but we don't get that same justice.
Yeah,
Right.
not at all, especially in this case.
Right.
Yeah.
So we once again, here's point number 2.
Mhm.
We see a disparity here.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
Exactly. This tells me that they didn't give a damn. So we're gonna rush this shit. We don't care.
That's
It ain't
it.
none of us.
Rush
You
job.
know, because at the end of the day, the bottom to this, the bottom line is the tourist dollars is what make the that world go around over there. If it wasn't for us,
Right.
Mhm.
so I'm gonna need us to stop taking our asses over to Mexico. Because honestly, they don't give a damn about us unless we
Tell
come in with our pockets fat.
Tell
Right.
it. Tell it. Go ahead. Tell it.
You
There
know,
it is.
this shit don't make no sense. Like, come on now. You know that y'all need the American tourism dollars to make the Mexico economy go around. Why not be all in to try to make sure that they can help to get justice for this family?
Well, they
Because I can
can.
only imagine how her family is feeling, especially her mom and her dad.
Today must have been devastating.
I mean, y'all, I don't know if anybody's seen the press conference when it aired earlier this afternoon, but her mom, you could tell
Yeah.
her
She
mom
didn't
was
even want to
completely
talk.
sick. She didn't want to talk, her or her sister.
Absolutely.
And I
Ain't nothing.
understand where she's coming from.
But you got to understand too. Sue Ann told us in that press conference because I was on it. You
Mhm.
know, as soon as you sent that, I was on it, and she told us that they're not about to stop fighting, meaning they're
True.
not about to stop riding. So if they're not gonna stop riding, we can't stop riding. Simple as that.
Absolutely. I'm not going to stop riding for it, but because of the actions of both Mexican and FBI officials, they damn sure has make this actually that much more difficult to even talk about, you know, getting Dejanay extradited back over to Mexico to be processed. But then we also had to kind of think about, and I thought about this too, in our smoke session, says that, you know, when was the last time that we actually had a United States citizen actually be extradited anywhere? That means these bastards are going to get away with this shit unless we can come up with some more evidence that maybe is unknown.
So you
And-
gotta
and-
ask, what does justice look like now if we can't charge her with murder?
Absolutely.
Street
Absolutely.
justice. Street justice.
Exactly.
I ain't promoting that, but what I'm saying is, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm so pissed, y'all. I had to take a couple of hits of my CBD pen. That's how I felt like. I just want to smack the shit out of all them officials. Because it's like, okay, did y'all give a damn? Because if it was one of their children, yeah, they gonna move heaven and hell to make sure that, you know, a proper investigation is gonna be done.
That's right.
I can't understand it. But I do want to say thank you guys because I definitely enjoyed the roundtable, all parts.
Thank you.
Definitely don't have a problem because I stay riding with y'all. I
Appreciate
just can't believe this, but y'all have done and continue to do a great job. John, I always tell and tell Keys about your Obama voice. I love your voice. I love how you break this shit down. So please know that I definitely appreciate all of you guys' effort. Y'all don't put out bullshit. Because I told Keys, I be on YouTube a lot, and I see a lot of content creators doing a half-ass job. And part of what Sue Robinson said in her press conference today was that that was a problem because we had a lot of content creators that was running with the fuckery.
Right.
Yeah.
That impacted this investigation also.
But you got to understand that impact all investigations.
Absolutely.
That's why we don't ride with that. I done told y'all. We
Exactly.
can't ride with that.
It's sad. It really is. But job well done. I'm so glad that I was able to find the FBI's autopsy report to share with y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. And I'm available for donations on Cash App. No, I'm just playing.
Go on, put your Cash App in the chat.
y'all know I'm gonna go all the way hard because I felt this way about Kanique, and I don't know, John, if you remember me being in your live too when you were reporting on Kanique. Y'all don't play. I'll be on their ass straight up.
You got that right.
Okay.
That's why I'm glad you're riding with us.
Absolutely.
We need people like you. We need people like you.
Yeah, seriously. I'm just hoping we saying prayers and keeping prayers up for Shanquella's family because I can only imagine what her parents and her family are going through. This is a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Because if we can't get the federal authorities over here, which actually, as a result of what they determined today or what they released today, because it seems like this autopsy was already done, it's going to be really hard to even get DOJ to agree for extradition, which I don't think is going to happen.
Right.
And the Cabo Six is going to get away with this.
Yeah, they're not going to expect them.
Unless Mexico, and I don't believe that Mexico is hiding evidence. I really don't. Because I remember when they came and first report the case over there, they went with the narrative, and then he had to come back and debunk what he said. Because after that report was released over there, he had to answer to that. And I'm glad that he corrected it because we would have never known. We would have just been riding with this alcohol bullshit excuse as to the reason why they saying that she passed away. But here's my other point on this too. The head trauma that we see in this autopsy report, supposedly done by the FBI officials, is that enough to confirm whether or not that this is caused? Is that what they're trying to say? That the head, because of her falling and hitting her head, possibly was the reason for her death?
But the thing is, they said they still don't have a cause of death.
Yeah, that part.
That's the problem.
But when you talk about the injuries though to her head, could that be sustained from a fall? Yeah.
Right. Possibly. Right. But you would think that if they were able to determine that shit, they should also be able to turn the matter of death. But I believe that because they did this after she was embalmed, I truly believe that had a huge impact on these results.
Or even if they thought it, was a head fall, why would they go ahead with the Attorney General to try to get an extradition process going on if they thought it was a head fall? Hey, she had an accident.
Absolutely. It just doesn't make sense.
Right then and there, but something told them they've got evidence that says this isn't an accident. They pursued going to the Ministry Council in Mexico at the consulate.
Right.
And they all agreed to send the paperwork where? To the United States.
Exactly. And then that's what I had an issue with also, because did they submit everything to DOJ over here?
There you go. And the way Sue Robinson was, she pointed that out about the extradition part. Now, casework is part of the file. An extradition process is separate. That's an entirely different request.
Right.
And for some strange reason, just me, I feel that somebody botched that up.
Absolutely.
They didn't get that document for some reason. It wasn't a part of the original case file. Hence the delay that occurred. So now they're saying, oh, well, okay, they've named the aggressor. Well,
Mhm.
where is it?
Exactly.
Who do they want us to extradite? Where is
Right.
it? Who is it?
I mean, if
They never
I
said.
remember from Sue Ann's interview that she did with Queen Sheba,
Yeah.
she said that, but then now she's kind of backpedaling a little bit. So that's got me looking at her sideways. Wait a minute, ma'am. You need to be specific and exact when you're speaking and making sure that you're providing the right information. Now, I'm not saying that she, intentionally did this, but that's got me on pause because I want to know if she went down there and did this fact-finding mission in Mexico, then why does some of the information that she provided in the press conference today conflict? So did they submit everything? I mean, everything
Well,
to
they
the United States?
right.
Mhm.
They told her, and I appreciate you bringing that up too, because
Mhm.
when someone says that they've been told that a package that's supposed to be transferred from the Mexican government up
Mhm.
here to the United States is complete.
Right.
Okay, so we got the word complete, but how is that defined? Complete
Absolutely.
how? You see,
Right.
and I think this was part of the problem, where she believed it. Sue Ann Robinson, that
Mhm.
she believes the Attorney General down there in uh, Baja California, sir,
Mhm.
said that the package went complete. So she's thinking in her mind, oh, okay, they got everything, all the ducks in a row and everything else like that. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
she's been told by everybody else, you need to go back to the United States and talk to the 6 people that came down here with her.
Exactly.
And that's what
You know,
bothers me because then it makes me wonder whether or not they will move forward with
Right.
prosecuting
right,
Dejanay.
right,
Right. And especially if we're missing some pages here, or we don't know whether or not it's going to be hard at this point to say whether or not if the Mexican officials actually were giving her the correct information. Because I'm
right,
wondering too, how was it? It had to be incomplete.
right. And they didn't tell her.
Right,
They
because she said
didn't tell her.
they provided the Mexican officials supposedly provided her with everything that they supposedly sent over to the FBI officials here. Then that means that you should have everything that you need. We shouldn't be at a pause right now. We should, just like we're able to see this autopsy report, we should be able to see pretty much the majority of what they have in the file. But it's obviously missing components. You know what I'm saying? It just don't
Right,
make no
right.
sense.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
I ain't buying it. I mean, especially being an attorney, you got to be sharp and you got to be on it. You have to dot your I's and cross them T's. Especially when you're talking, to the nation, you're addressing everybody about a case that everybody is interested in. You know what I mean? So you leaving down, then that means that we have to doubt the officials that are the main members in this.
Right.
Because I don't know if I could even believe either autopsy now or even the death
Right.
report.
Yeah.
Right.
It
I
kind of
guess
leaves
we got to
people
question
in that
all
area.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just can't get over the fact that it was partially done over there in Mexico. Now, are they in the business of doing partial autopsies?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense because I would think a full-fledged autopsy report, toxicology report, everything that comes with a death investigation would need to be completed before you can make any findings and any assumptions based off the findings, right?
Right. And hence for the feds to have had an autopsy report done, knowing and revealing that there was a partial autopsy done, hence they can't determine the cause of death.
Exactly. And did they even do the toxicology report over there?
Yeah, see? Now
I
they're
mean,
writing some stuff on this autopsy, handwritten anyway. And I knew it was going to come up zero because there's no way that they could have possibly done that during the time sequence that they had contacted the father and then sent the body back, because toxicology does take time. Nothing in the original death certificate and the autopsy that was released with the 18 pages stated anything about toxicology being done.
Absolutely. It's an incomplete investigation, if you ask me.
Right.
I mean,
So
because 1 + 1 should be 2 all day long.
And now you bring this you bring the autopsy report to us tonight, which was a total surprise and a great blessing to tonight's Roundtable React, because we weren't going to be here this long. We didn't have that information, but you know something, hey, we went the extra mile. Hey, we got the autopsy. Let's take a look.
Yes, I'm glad you guys did an extended one, because while I was watching,
thank you
I
so
was
much.
researching, and that's how I came across it.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I was glad to be able to share that in the live, because I think that that is very pertinent to this case and how they went about, you know, doing this case. Because the investigation is really, it's just throw the entire shit out the window and start the hell over at this point. Because it's I can't believe that pretty much what they're saying to us is that you can go over to another country and commit murder and flee back to the United States and avoid any kind of accountability. I don't understand it.
But understand this too, you know, and I know I too want to know exactly what they got from Mexico. But still, even when it made it over here on U.S. soil,
right?
You would have think they would have done their own from start to finish.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean? Interviewing these people and putting this information together, and their information topped with what Mexico gave them gives us no charges.
Exactly. I mean, come on now. They're pretty much saying that nothing happened. You might as well say, if you're gonna go out, you know, if you're gonna do a half-ass job with investigating and doing the autopsy and toxicology report, you gonna be on the phone? What the hell?
And the concierge report stating that Dejanay Jackson asked the concierge, you know, that they were told the concierge that they were hungry, they were going to go out to dinner,
exactly,
all this other stuff, and then the next day it's like she calls in the afternoon and says, hey, if there's anything you need from me, you can email me and this, that, and the other thing, because I'm out of town.
Absolutely. I shared with Keys in our Smoke Sister session that I felt as though that this was premeditated.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, based on the other additional information that, you know, we've been able to kind of talk about with Dejanay that's who Dejanay was on the phone with, her little friend, the friend that was supposed to accompany them on the trip but couldn't make it. I don't know if you guys seen her her other social media post. She was pretty much, you know, speaking in code. Honestly, she wasn't really coming out with it, but if you read between the lines, you can understand what she was saying.
Squeak said that, so she believes that they're taking Cabo 6 word. My thing is this,
right?
Based off of, to me, what it sounds like is based off of what they have. I mean, it goes against, you know, or it could fall in line with what they told them. She failed.
Exactly.
Right.
And it could be possible. I mean, I'm just looking at all, you know, avenues of what could have possibly happened. And you're right. It could, I'm really confirmed that she passed away of head trauma. But then I don't feel like at this point, even with what we have now, is not enough to really confirm that. Really.
Right.
So we just left at a standstill.
Only because of the video.
Exactly. And if we didn't have the video, I don't think we would have got much, you know, traction on this, besides us, you know, posting on social media about it. And it's a damn shame that we got to post on all social media and tag all these, you know, different news outlets and stuff to get some attention when it comes to Black and brown folks. Why?
Right.
It's
take all that. Yeah, it shouldn't take all that.
Absolutely. She should have had the same type of attention or the same amount of attention that Natalie Holloway got.
Right. And I do believe, and Squeak, I'm with you. I do believe the FBI received more videos. Hell, Nazir told us he had more videos.
Right. And then I was understanding that they had audio evidence of them talking about this. Because if you ask me, Dejanay was the go-to person. She was the head person in charge. That was a perfect opportunity for her to be able to control the damn narrative. That's the reason why they was hurrying up and booking ass and hauling ass up out of Mexico so they wouldn't be detained.
Right.
Had the Mexican authorities actually detained all their asses, ain't nobody going nowhere until we actually do this investigation.
Because they knew they had to get out of there right then.
Absolutely. So they was able to get away with murder.
Yeah, that was the most premeditated move they made.
Was
to make a move to get out of there.
Right.
Because if they stuck around, they would have got stuck. They wouldn't have been able to get out of Mexico.
Right. Because I mean, we know that Nazir didn't get there until 2 that Saturday. They had plenty of time to concoct their narrative. I bet you that Dejanay was probably the ringleader, and they probably got scared, which is understandable too. But instead of them telling the truth, you know, they was covering it up. And how dare they go to the family's house and sit in front of them, eating their food, and being asked specifically, was there a fight? And then they say no, like the family wasn't gonna find out eventually, without, of course, with the servicing of the video. But come on now, you know, their little friends was talking. They shared this on the college campus out there. Word spread like wildflowers. It's just, I can't even understand it, y'all.
And I still believe that video came out before she passed.
I do too.
I think that video was shared before she passed, because ain't no way in the world they would have shared that video after death.
Absolutely, because their point. Now, I don't think that they intended to cause you know, her to die. I think that they, you know, of course, wanted to humiliate her. I mean, but wow, the guys there, of all the guys, nobody stopped to, you know, stop Dejanay from you know, jumping on her.
Yeah, none of them.
I mean, she was, you know, short, slim. She couldn't fight up against Dejanay man hands.
They couldn't either.
And I still want to know what the hell set Dejanay ass off to get her to go off like this. To this point, I mean, okay, if somebody stole money out of your checking account, okay, maybe that type of pressure might be needed, or messing with somebody's, you know, husband or something like that. But come on, I just couldn't. I didn't get it. I'm real pissed, but you know, what can we do but continue to talk about this, and maybe something will surface that will change the trajectory of you know, in another direction with this case, possibly, because we need some damn justice, goddamn it, for Shanquella.
Yeah, we'll see what Mexico does now.
Absolutely. But I enjoyed y'all as usual. Thanks for having me, y'all, and y'all keep riding, because I'm gonna stay riding.
You're welcome. Much love to you.
All right. All right. Bye-bye. See you later, Keys.
I love you, sis.
Love you too, boo.
Yeah. Look what Joyce said. Joyce said the U.S. have convicted people of homicide without having bodies. She could have failed because of the blows to her head, plus all the bruising. And that's what I'm saying. We seen her take multiple headshots. And I think at one point we counted them. I can't remember how many it was, but it was a lot. But what they're telling us is that she walked away from this. And I mean,
it would make it seem that way.
Right.
You know, according to what we just went over. Oh, she got up after that, and you know, she was able to get up and walk away from it. But where's the proof in that?
Amen.
Yeah, where's the proof in that?
Brown Sugar said, go back to her comment.
Oh, which one?
Oh, shoot. It's moving. The chat moving kind of fast.
Yeah, I know. You guys have been.
You want to put it back in there for me? What's your comment? You know we ride with you, Brown Sugar. What's your comment, baby? Said something been off since the beginning of this story. And then they were wanting to know where the broken neck came from. Mexico.
I mean, they put it out there. They were very specific as to what it was, too.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Atlas luxation.
We
looked it up. We looked it up. All right. So what did Brown Sugar say? There's more documents than the 18 pages that were released before today's report. Sue Ann said that they did not send everything to the White House. They only sent what they thought was important.
Right. So it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough.
Nope.
So where's the point of origin to all of what we're talking about tonight go back to? Is it the U.S. or is it Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Who needs to bounce? Who needs to come back with a response to this?
Right. It sounds like it's on Mexico now.
Yeah.
We bouncing around now, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Said she was naked when she left the room. Who dressed her? Listen, for all we know, she dressed herself. If they telling us she walked away from this fight.
Right. Pretty sure that's what she went and did. If she walked away.
If she walked away from it, you know. Yeah, I don't know, y'all, but understand this. Like I said, Sue Ann said they gonna keep fighting. You know, so do we stop fighting? If her family's still fighting, that means we supposed to still be fighting, y'all.
We're gonna be on it.
Most definitely. April 19th. April 19th.
But at least we know tonight on a visual, who spoke with Sue Ann Robinson at that table before the press conference. We know who she is now.
Yep.
And who's responsible for claiming what was said at the press conference that Sue Ann Robinson had this afternoon. So we need to keep an eye on her moves as well, now that she's been identified as the person that was in charge.
Michael wanted to know, so what's the new cause of demise? It's undetermined. They can't tell us.
According to what we just read, yeah. You know, now it's undetermined. You know, the U.S. cannot determine what the cause of death was. Mexican officials have determined what the cause of death is. So now you've got, okay, who's believing who? Who's going to believe who? And then who's going to do what they need to do? So we're back and forth now. We're back and forth.
It is. It's a lot of back and forth, but understand we still riding. Man, listen, if her family's still riding, we still riding. That's it.
That's right.
And they are. They are.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we appreciate y'all coming out riding with us. You know, we had to look into this. We had to break this down. You know, because it didn't make sense. And we needed to see exactly what is it that they're trying to tell us. And why are they telling us this? And it goes back to even what we've seen thus far is not enough.
Nope.
Right. It isn't.
It's not enough. But like I said, you know, I'm glad y'all was riding. You know, my Smoke Sisters was in the building. The Night Riders was in here. Nothing but good energy.
As always.
As always. That's right,
For
boss.
Shanquella. Yep, for Shanquella. You know, so I think we should at least leave out of here with our song, man. I know we at the React, you know, I know we at the RoundTable React, but you know, like I said, man, you know, we just got to keep Shanquella in our prayers, her family, her mom, her sister, her dad. And like I said, if they fighting, we fighting. If they're not stopping, how can we? It don't make sense. So all I want to see in the chat, man, is justice for Shanquella. And we're going to get on up out of here, y'all.
There you go. Much love to everyone that came out tonight for a special live, because this was a react.
Absolutely.
We went the extra mile, and thank you for hanging with us for the extra mile.
We appreciate y'all. We
Yes.
riding, baby.
Salute. You screaming out, Quella. Let's do it.
Body to beat global.
Khalil, you going crazy.
Talk to you niggas a minute. I gotta get nigga to business. A lot of you niggas, you softer than bitches. And too many bitches beginning to switch. I'm sick of this shit, we bigger than who the fuck taking the trip and killing they friends. Y'all niggas some cowards, you can't be a man. If they could start over, they do it again. Damn. Now none of you niggas thought about a fam. First thing they do is pulling out a cam. Truth is, you don't really give a damn. Then you go lie to the mother and tell her some shit that you know that you'll never believe. Ain't no damn alcohol pours and try to avoid. I hope that you never get peace. You bitches are weak. Who want them a friend like Malik? I know that nigga can't sleep. This shit done got deep. And them bitches was playing for keeps. What you did come with a fee. It was left up to me. Shit, I better not speak. I don't want them looking for me. And Deja, they hope that you're praying for peace. The way that you look, you's a man to me. Can't catch hands from me. Nowadays, these niggas switch up. Either that or they gon' bitch up. You show love, but you can't get love. Most of these niggas ain't shit, bro. Big facts, I ain't lying about shit, bro. See the fake and the real don't mix, bro. If you real, go ahead, nigga, get them up. Fake ass nigga, sit down, you ain't did enough. Screaming out, Quella, 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 Quella. These lame assholes be jealous. And you sucker niggas need to do better. They claim that they real, but a nigga can't tell it. We screaming out, Quella, Quella. Let's go. Quella, Quella. Turn up one time. Quella, Quella. Nigga don't need love. Quella, Quella. So we screaming out, Quella. I know you're not scared now, bitch. Somebody should've did that shit. You should've left alone in the bed, little bitch. You know that you wrong, I can't stand that little bitch. Like you bitches was planning this shit. We need some answers, don't panic, little bitch. And after you did all that damage and shit, then when they gon' put her little hands in this shit? I hope they handle the bitch. Like you won't speak up, little weak teacup. Bitch won't beef from the beef seeker. Bitch, you can hide, but they gon' reach ya. Niggas don't listen, but I'm gon' teach ya. This is the same as they did Nika. We gon' let the bitch burn, gon' get the ether. Cook her like dope, put her in the beaker. If the feds can't get you, then the goons gon' reach you. Quella ain't deserve this shit. Nope, we done got the word a little bit. Everybody heard this shit. Ain't nobody fucking with you, we gon' curve this bitch. This ain't no accident, bitch, this is murder. Trash your little bitch, yeah, we coming to serve. You come from a circus, looking so nerve. Now tell me, was it really nerve? Was it really nerve? Nowadays, these niggas switch up. Either that or they gon' bitch up. You show love, but you can't get love. Most of these niggas ain't shit, bro. Big facts, I ain't lying about shit, bro. See the fake and the real don't mix, bro. If you real, go ahead, nigga, get them up. Fake ass nigga, sit down, you ain't did enough. We screaming out, Quella, 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 Quella. These lame assholes be jealous. And you sucker niggas need to do better. They claim that they real, but a nigga can't tell it. We screaming out, Quella, Quella. Let's go, let's go. Quella, Quella. Turn up one time. Quella, Quella. Nigga don't need love. Quella, Quella. So we screaming out, Quella. So we screaming out, Quella. Nigga don't need love. Don't need love. So we screaming out, Quella.